Hey, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our monthly first of the month guest, Dr. Will Dodson. Will, thanks for coming back.
Hey, I look forward to the end of the month for payday and the beginning of the month for you.
That may be the sweetest thing anybody has ever said about me, including all of the nice things my wife has ever said, because that was pretty special. Equating me to a paycheck is pretty damn close.
It's actually almost a year, just a little over. Last week was the 1 year anniversary of me discovering your channel and beginning the slow process of worming my way into your life.
I felt the tinkle. How's everything been? It's been a good month?
It's been good. I'll share with the audience. After months and months, I finally got a microphone.
After being embarrassed by the Shelf Shock video, is that what kicked it off?
Yeah, man, my audio sucked. Ironic because it's best packaging, and I had this technical mess.
Well, we already got a whole bunch of friends in chat. Josephine DeMarco is here. Hello. First time watches. A whole bunch of good stuff, including Adventures of Baron Munchausen and So I Married an Axe Murderer. Nice. Finished reading the Quiet Man short story and watched the adaptation. It was fantastic. Favorite Terry Gilliam film?
Well, for me, it's probably going to have to be Brazil. Still.
That would be up there. I've always liked Time Bandits, too.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite Irish movies, other than Banshees, which I don't know why. Other than Banshees, I love Banshees. I gotta throw out Jim Sheridan. A lot of his stuff is amazing.
Going with Rawhead Rex. No, I'm just kidding.
Brent is here. What's going on? My friend Cam, hello. Brent just finished reading Cinema Speculation while waiting for the show to start. Nice. Hello, Antoine and Eric and Griff. Griff, hello. Eating Girl Scout cookies ready for the stream. Media Membrane, my friend Sardis, Terry, Holland Oates, Paul, DC. Man, we got a lot of people here tonight. John DeMarsico, welcome. Oh, man, there's Tony. What's going on? Hello, Barry and John. Brian and Stefano. The doctor is in. Hello, you are the doctor. They call you Dr. Feelgood, I guess. Dead Sea Life, what's going on? Christian Hobby Blog. He's always here for you. Hello.
Hey.
DC says 12 Monkeys. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Cam was talking about this in the Discord. Have you seen On the Job?
What is that?
He watched it last night and loved it. We got a few things to talk about tonight. There is an abundance of announcements. This week was kind of amazing. We got some physical media companies that came out and just kind of posted appreciation for the state of the industry, and we'll show our appreciation for that in multiple ways tonight. We're going to talk about some recent pickups, maybe some recent watches. But one of the biggest things is tonight is the first Thursday of March, and it is Women's Appreciation Month. And there is a lot that can go around that, and through most of the topics this month, we're going to be talking about something surrounding appreciating women. And tonight, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite Scream Queen performances.
Yeah.
Scream Queen.
Yeah. We thought that you all would enjoy watching two large white men talk about Women's History Month, Women's Appreciation Month, and share our thoughts about the best performances and films made by women.
And I'll warn you now, that is not the last time this month that two large white men are going to be talking about women. It is definitely going to be happening multiple times this month. And some of the topics that I have ready for everybody, you are probably not prepared. It's going to be a fun month, and I can't wait to see everybody responds to these. One of the things we wanted to highlight is a company that really shows a lot of appreciation for women. Will, you got the floor.
Yeah, I just it's something that you notice to some degree, but then like for example, we're talking about Kino, and it's easy to notice when they do things like box sets on early women filmmakers, right? That's really valuable. You discover all this history that's been hidden, suppressed. They just released the new Mark Cousins 800-hour documentary on the history of women filmmakers, and that's really great. But also, they release so many films directed by women, contemporary films that, or films that are like documentaries about women in history that otherwise we wouldn't have an opportunity to see. Just recently, for example, they released Shatara Michelle Ford, who identifies as she, they, her film Test Pattern, which is amazing. Who's going to do that? I do think other labels like Vinegar Syndrome and many of their partner labels also platform a lot of women filmmakers, but nobody does it to the degree of Kino. Here's a recent documentary, Recorder, the Marion Stokes Project, about Marion Stokes. That's just fantastic. And I believe I need to make sure that I'm not getting this wrong. Yes, they also released Losing Ground by Kathleen Collins. This is the first feature-length film made by a Black woman director since 1922. 1991, Julie Dash, Daughters of the Dust. That was the first film directed by a Black woman to get a theatrical release. Losing Ground did not get a theatrical release. It only played at festivals and didn't get released on home video until 2014. So it's gotten this great reputation, and now, thanks to Kino and others, we can see it. It's got Bill Gunn in it, Dwayne Jones, Night of the Living Dead, Bill Gunn, Ganja and Hess, Sarah Scott, the great stage actress. So I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to Kino Lorber for all that she does. Yeah, Kathleen Collins also wrote fiction, poetry, plays. She only made 2 feature films, but really has a legacy that everybody needs to know about. I mean, she was just a fantastic artist.
We've got 2 in the comments that have thrown out Ida Lupino, and
Yes.
I will happily show the Ida Lupino filmmaker collection.
Yeah.
That was on the ready. And then the other big one that I wanted to show that got a very recent release that I am kind of eager to dive into is this Cinema's First Nasty Women box set. This thing, I mean, they've got stuff on here from 1898 to 1926. Yeah. Like, this is a remarkable box set, and a lot of companies wouldn't touch stuff like this with the 10-foot pole. It just wouldn't sell well enough.
Yeah, and it's, as somebody who teaches film history, introduction to film to students, I have yes, it took until 1991 for a movie directed by a Black woman to get a theatrical release. That is true. I think it's so important for, so many generations of film students who later became film professors learned the same, 20 directors. It's, Orson Welles, Akira Kurosawa, John Ford, Alfred Hitchcock. And that's all great and good. But if we don't, as historians and teachers and fans and collectors, if we don't push ourselves to learn about the history that we haven't been taught, then we do a real disservice. I think it's so important. If I'm teaching how to do continuity editing and I'm showing examples, I don't have to show D.W. Griffith. I can show Lois Weber, and still accomplish the same thing. So I just am grateful to Kino for making that possible for us to get access to these movies.
And in jest, Nerd of the 80s said, when is the next Kino sale? Because we're highlighting a lot of this stuff. And it is a good time to remind that historically, Kino has had a sale usually around the 3rd to 4th week of March. So I would not be surprised if that was happening very soon. And if you're into it, you might want to start making that wish list to see what goes down in price.
Yeah, well, I encourage everybody out there to make a point of some of these box sets and films that we've just shown on the stream, um, and look around. I like that old in joke.
Yeah, Kino Lorber is fantastic for stuff like that, and I also want to give a slight hat tip to Criterion, who has stepped
Oh yeah,
up over the last 4 or 5 years and released way more films from women filmmakers than they ever used to in the past. And it's a good month to reflect on that. It's a good month to look at all of the ways that women have enhanced cinema for all of us, and on top of that, also how they've been oppressed. There's a lot of things that are just ridiculously discriminatory in the history of Hollywood that is rather embarrassing in the grand scheme of things. And the fact that we can, still show a shocking thing like the first feature directed by a black woman and not released theatrically till 1991, like that should not be possible. That it took that long, and here we are, highlighting home video in a way that is accessible for all of us on a platform that is free to everybody. And hopefully, some of that education can inspire some people to check out some new films.
yeah. I'll throw out a bit of trivia since I mentioned Losing Ground and Daughters of the Dust. So 1922, Tressie Suter was the last black woman filmmaker we know of to make a feature-length film. It's lost, unavailable. We just know about it from newspaper clippings. 1982, Kathleen Collins, first black woman since then to make a feature film. 1991, Julie Dash, first black woman to have one theatrically released. 2019, Nia DaCosta, first black woman to direct a film that opens #1, and that was the Candyman remake. So it's interesting.
Candyman sequel.
Oh, it's a sequel?
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a sequel. The parts from the first film.
Oh, right,
it
right.
affected the story.
A sequel reimagining, what reboot sequel?
Yeah, it's a reboot sequel. I mean, Tony Todd's in it, kind of.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too.
Yeah.
But to your point about Criterion, yeah, everyone from Dorothy Arzner to Casey Lemons, who did Eve's Bayou, it's great to see just more opportunities open up. And of course, the entire filmography of Roberta Findlay is over at Vinegar Syndrome.
We'll get there eventually. So yeah, all the month of March, we're going to be talking about as many topics as we can surrounding and appreciating women. This is just one that we thought would be fun for the two of us to go over tonight and share some of our love for cult films. So we'll be talking about some of our favorite Scream Queen. I can't speak on those two words tonight. Favorite Scream Queen performances. And just a reminder there, we're not saying that those are the 5 best. It's just 5 of our favorites. And of course, when we get to the list, I'm going to be a terrible person because when I made my list of 5, it ended up being a list of 10.
I've got 7.
And one of them is 2 people.
Got to fit them all in.
All right. Let's get into our regular show. Some recent pickups. You got anything you want to highlight for everybody?
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of Adi Lupino, I got the Imprint Outrage, which is fantastic. There was a full moon sale, and I got a couple of Ted Nicolau kids movies, Remote and Dragon World. These are so new, I haven't even taken them out of the box. And then Scream Factory had a little sale, and I was like, oh, snap, I got the Dog Soldiers 4K. Picked up Viva Erotica from
very nice.
What's the partner label? Is that Yellow Sky?
No, that is Canny, I believe.
Yeah, Canny. So pretty exciting. And then I got some other pickups I'll show you when we talk about recent watches.
Stan Geezy says he just got back from watching Cocaine Bear. Have you seen that one yet?
I have not. I'm glad it exists, though.
It is worth it. My recent pickups, I will talk about Resurrection. These 3 that I'm going to show all came in from Imprint for review. This is with Ellen Burstyn, of course, and I'm eager to see this one. This one's got an interview that's a modern contemporary interview, brand new, with Ellen Burstyn. So
All
stoked
right.
that they were able to get her on this. And then on top of that, one of my favorites, Kat Ellinger, comes on here for a video essay called Resurrection and the Rise of the Divine Feminine. So that it adds in perfectly for tonight.
Great.
Yes, Paul, absolutely. Speaking of female directors, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
I'm a single person here. Carrie came in from Imprint for a review as well,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Laurence Olivier.
I got that. A
And
great film, William Wyler.
yeah, this one also has an interview with the author of A Wonderful Heart. The film's of William Wyler, so curious to see what he says about this and how that one looks, because that's a 1952. And then finally from Imprint, we got in the George Stevens Something to Live For. And this one, also 1952. So curious about this one. We got an interview with the author of George Stevens, The Films of a Hollywood Giant. And there's an audio commentary on this one, Daniel Kramer and David Del Valle.
Now, I know you talk sometimes about how you've got a lot of blind spots in the classic studio here. So those are some great films.
Yep. That'll help.
Fill those, yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see. Stan is trying to get me to watch David Lynch's Dune. Is that one of your favorites?
Me?
Yeah.
I did get the Arrow 4K of it. I love going up to people and saying Shai Halub, or just kind of doing an ASMR in their ear going, the spice, the spice, the spice. But no, it's not one of my favorite David Lynch's, but I do enjoy, I enjoy watching it. It's usually not the one I would pick first, but.
I got to understand Skin when I said I had no desire to even see it. All right. How about some recent watches then? What do you got for us?
Okay. Well, I just watched for the first time and actually showed in class. Well, I'll give a backstory. A Fathom event just re-released Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which I hadn't seen since I saw it in theaters, 2001. And I went to see it, and I wept in the exact same places, except even harder. It holds up remarkably. Michelle Yeoh should have gotten an Oscar then.
Yeah.
And I just watched Magnificent Warriors, 1987, nice. And she kicks so much ass in this movie. It's an action comedy inspired by Indiana Jones. Very lighthearted, and yet 1,000 people are killed in this movie. Not beaten, killed. It's just a bonkers and delightful movie. So I recommend it to everyone. And it is, what is this? 88? Yeah, 88 films.
Nice.
And then the other one I will show. I was very excited about this. Synapse just released Invaluable, which is a documentary about Todd Holland, who is Todd Holland. I mixed together Spider-Man and
it's a Fright Night director.
Tom Sullivan, who did special effects work for The Evil Dead. I have not watched Invaluable yet. It has as a special feature a second feature-length documentary called Other Men's Careers about one of my favorite filmmakers of all time, Josh Becker, who is also part of that Michigan mafia that made The Evil Dead, longtime friend of Bruce Campbell, made Running Time, Thou Shalt Not Kill Except, directed many episodes of Xena, If I Had a Hammer, Lunatics, A Love Story, Alien Apocalypse, and on and on and on. And Other Men's Careers, it's kind of about how he toiled. He was very uncompromising and prickly character, and got overshadowed in many ways, despite the fact that he's very pure, very literate and erudite filmmaker himself. Other Men's Careers is a quote from his favorite movie, The Bridge on the River Kwai, which is a perfectly poetic. So I watched that last night and I just loved it. So worth it for that. Thank you, Synapse. Please release If I Had a Hammer next.
I will throw out just to show the other European release. This is the Magnificent Warriors from Eureka.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And this is just a very recent, they might have come out within a week or two of each other.
Have you
Go
seen
ahead.
it?
I've literally just picked it up today. I've not seen it.
You're gonna love it.
Where was I? Oh, I already talked about those recent watches. So in the last week, I've watched 5 movies, which is like an exponential increase compared to what I normally get to. So last Friday, Megan finally went live on Peacock. Watched the unrated release of that, and it was good. It was entertaining, but very formulaic. It was just so cliche, which for a film like that, I get it, completely get it. Cocaine Bear, saw that on Saturday. The wife and I got to get away from the kids and went to the theater for that one. And it was pretty damn good. It was entertaining. It was a nice modern take. It didn't take itself seriously. The only thing that I had against Cocaine Bear is I feel like they had way too many characters that they were following in the film. I wanted more Cocaine Bear, and instead I got stuck with way too many side characters. Last night, I had a double feature of the same director who put out 2 films that are 20 years apart, and the films, other than the director, had literally nothing to do with each other. And I was really expecting an interesting evening because I don't think I'd ever seen either one of these before. Now, after having seen them, I'm fairly certain I hadn't. It was a Rodman Flender night, and in '99 he put out Idle Hands. And just recently, he put out Eat Brains Love, which came out from Gunpowder and Sky. And I didn't really like either one of them that much. I was kind of sad. Idle Hands was messy. I don't understand how that one got the like giant cult following that it did, other than like it's a good pot smoking movie, which cool. But then
I think well, not to disrupt the theme of the evening, but I think the main reason that movie gained a certain cult following, in addition to the pot, was Jessica Alba in her underwear for half the movie.
Yep. And then 2019's Eat Brains Love is I love that DC was already typing that as you said it. Eat Brains Love is the zombie romance film, and yeah, it was just not great.
Well, shit, I just ordered that. Damn.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate it that much. I thought that it was just as messy as Idle Hands and way more like plotting of a storyline.
I do like picturing you saying, "Honey, it's a Rodman Flender kind of night."
Well, get this. The reason we watched both of them, my wife said, I think that you said you weren't sure if you'd watched Idle Hands. Let's watch that. And I went, guess what? I just got in a second movie from the director in my Vinegar Syndrome box. Let's watch 2 of them. And she ended up watching Idle Hands and then falling asleep halfway through Eat Brains Love. Then I do want to highlight my favorite watch of the last week because it was by a female director. And that was 2015's, I believe it's a Polish film called The Lure, and I'm sure you've seen this one.
No.
You've never seen The Lure from Criterion?
Where? I'm Googling it now.
So here is the cover.
Oh yeah, I've got it. I just haven't watched it yet.
So this is what I called in my review. What are the words I used? I never thought I'd see a horny musical Polish horror version of The Little Mermaid.
Okay, I'm gonna watch this.
Right? It is kind of amazing. It is so well done. The practical effects on this are astonishing. The casting for our 2 main characters alone took a year and a half, and they saw more than 2,000 females to play the 2 leads.
Wow.
It is such a well-made, interesting fever dream of a movie. It is wild. Love it. They got so much into it, and it flows really well. Yeah, love The Lure. It is very good. The Criterion disc looks great, and it's just a really unique movie.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting a lot of love in the comments. Okay, well, I got to get on that then.
DC says we had him at Horny Polish Mermaid. All right, I think that's all we got for our lead-up stuff. Are we ready to talk about like 70 announcements?
All right.
All right, so we both just talked about Imprint a little bit. They led off our week, and we got quite a few coming from them. First, we got Rock Hudson and Burl Ives in The Spiral Road. This is from 1962. This one gets a new audio commentary with Daniel Kramer and David Del Valle. There is also a new interview with John Mercer, who wrote the BFI book on Rock Hudson. And I'm sure that you've got a lot ready to talk about on this one. So go right ahead.
Well, hopefully I beat people in the chat to this bit of trivia, but the Spiral Road is very important for this reason. You know how if you watch Monty Python, the television show, and you watch the opening credits, and at the end, Michael Palin in torn clothing with a beard stumbles up to the camera and says, "It's," and then it goes, the Monty Python, Monty Python picture show, whatever the hell. That's from this movie. Rock Hudson, no spoiler here, but Rock Hudson is deep in the jungle. He's lost, and he's lost his sense of himself, and he's crawling through the jungle. His clothes are torn. He's got this mangly beard, and he stumbles out into a clearing and sees his reflection in a pond, and he goes, "It's me." and that's where Monty Python got the bit from. On top of that, it's a very enjoyable adventure movie, jungle movie. Burl Ives is great. Rock Hudson is a lot of fun in it. And Robert Mulligan's a very competent, journeyman director. I can't wait to see this. Previously was only available in a DVD of 5-film Rock Hudson box set that I think had 2 movies per DVD. So I can't wait to see what it really looks like.
2 movies per DVD. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Next up, we got The Long Voyage Home from John Ford. This is from 1940. This gets a new audio commentary by Elaine Silver and Jim Ursini. There's a new interview with film professor Jose Arroyo, new interview with Jean Chotia, Cambridge University English professor, on the adaptations. Did I say Cambridge? I meant Cambridge. On the adaptations of Eugene O'Neill, Homecoming, a video essay by film critic, writer of John Ford, the man in his films, Tag Gallagher. And obviously we got my favorite actor ever, Mr. John Wayne.
Oh, this film is great. John Ford, this is one of his kind of men hanging out together film, and it's these merchant marines. Greg Toland does the cinematography, and it's just gorgeous. And on top of it all, you get to see John Wayne attempting vainly to do a Swedish accent. So it's a really good movie and also a really funny movie at the same time. I'm really excited. This is another one that was unavailable in high definition until now. So this is just manna from heaven.
Yeah, this is a big deal. Imprint's been doing a whole lot of these Paramount films that have never been released anywhere on a good definitive release, and just adding to it. Next up, one that kind of set the world on fire when this got announced. May is when all these are coming out, by the way, but this is Uptight from 1968. Days after the assassination of Martin Luther King, Tank Williams is an unemployed and itinerant itinerant steelworker who turns over his militant friend, Johnny, to the police for the $1,000 reward, resulting in an underground all-points bulletin to exact vengeance on the Squealer. This is the updated remake of John Ford's 1935 film, The Informer. And this has a new audio commentary with Elaine Silver and Jim Ursini as well. New interview with curator Karen Alexander about the film's impact in African-American Hollywood. And it looks pretty damn great.
Yeah, well, first of all, Itinerant Steelworker is a great name for an 80s synth pop band. I feel like there might have been a band called Itinerant Steelworker from the time.
They opened for the Sex Pistols on their world tour.
Jules Dawson, great director. We all know him from his Blacklisted days when he was in France making Rafifi and so on.
DC, you're gonna kill me.
And of course the film Informer by John Ford with Victor McLaglen in the original role playing the film's Irish, right, set in Ireland. So this is so cool. I do need to point out Kino actually already has a Blu-ray of this, but I imagine this has this is very different special features, and who knows, maybe a different transfer, maybe the same one. Packaging looks really great. I'm very excited about this release too.
The Kino release of this is from 2012, and this has a 2019 4K scan.
Okay, so this is going to look better then.
Yeah. This is going to look much, much better. DC, I apologize. I will get it together. I love that he said this. If I join the Discord, do I get closed captioning? Not tonight. I will hire my wife to be a stenographer for us. Next up, The Great Gatsby from 1949. This 1949 movie lavishly takes us on the journey of Jay Gatsby, played by Alan frickin' Ladd, who worked his way from poor fisherman to extravagant millionaire, traveled back in time to the roaring 20s, a time of flappers, bootlegging, Art Deco architecture, and jazz music through this classic tale of love and betrayal, deception, and mystery. And then it says this Paramount Pictures classic is the second adaptation of the famous novel, was made before the book became considered an American classic. And the master was found just in 2012 and has now been lovingly restored here for the first time in HD from a brand new 4K scan.
Wow, this is really exciting.
Yeah.
And Ruth Hussey, oh my gosh, Oscar nominated from Philadelphia Story. Just a great actress, beautiful, sharp, and it was lost. So this is going to be a first watch for me. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Shelley Winters is in it too. Oh man, cool.
Yeah, this one looks good. And then Barry Sullivan. Let's see, what is that other name? Howard Da Silva. Howard Da Silva was in something else big. I can't remember offhand. The next one, this one got a lot of attention as well. We are getting from 1946, The Catman of Paris. This is another worldwide debut on Blu-ray, and the cover of this looks wild.
Yeah.
We get a new audio commentary with Kim Newman and Stephen Jones, plus a new video essay by Kat Ellinger. There's a 1991 feature-length documentary about the studio featuring hundreds of clips and on-screen interviews about Republic Pictures. And yeah, this is pretty damn cool.
That documentary will be worth it alone. This is another one that I never even heard of, so I'm pretty excited. We need a. Sarda said we need a month where all the releases suck. Agreed.
We can't even get a week where all the releases suck.
Well, it helped when Severin put out the Birdemic movies, because I was like, okay, hard pass.
All right.
But then they announced that was last week, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the Danse Macabre stuff. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Next one, Anne Margaret and Michael Parks in Bus Riley's Back in Town from 1965. First off, I had not seen Michael Parks in a lot before, and I love him. I only discovered him the last few years, and my God, dude was an incredible actor.
I really want to see him in a romantic comedy role.
Right? From 1965. This is also a worldwide debut on Blu-ray. And we got a new audio commentary by Lee Pfeiffer and Paul Scrabo. This is a new interview with film professor Lucy Bolton about Anne Margaret as well. And yeah, they are putting out some amazing things. This was another seemingly hard to find movie. And yeah, they say Anne Margaret sex potting her way throughout this makes it a must-see movie.
I'm picturing Michael Parks talking to her in the voice of the state trooper in From Dusk Till Dawn, though. That's
or the manor owner in Tusk. Oh, jeez. What is next? Okay, this one is pretty cool. If anybody's been following all the Wicked Vision stuff that has been announced recently, especially after I had them on the channel, on March 24th, and you can pre-order this now, they are releasing something for their Ordinary Dreams collection, and that is Tinto Brass's The Key from 1983. And this is a big deal because it was never released in Germany before this, I believe. I think that's what they were saying. But yeah, really cool release from them. I'm glad that they keep doing regular stuff like this other than their media books. Gets people interested in all kinds of different types of films over there.
I I feel weird talking about Tinto Brass after our introduction to Women's History Month. That said, Tinto Brass is a genius and an amazing filmmaker. The Key is really good. It's previously been released by Arrow, but this, I'm sure this is new, right? This is a remaster.
I don't know for sure. I would have to ask, but it's possible. They may be using. They use a lot of the Arrow scans because it's the first time they've been released in Germany, so it's possible.
Well, either get them both. Tinto Brass deserves appreciation and respect. He once said, I'm sure something's lost in the translation from Italian, but he said that truth is a woman's ass.
I mean, I don't know. That sounds pretty straightforward.
And based on, well, I'm sure it was more elegant in the Italian, but that was the subtitle in the documentary. And based on every movie of his I've seen, that does seem to be his main focus.
It's true. It's true. The Arrow release of this was only in the UK, and this has never been released in the US, actually, on Blu-ray. Right. So it's a pretty good one.
Great movie, it really is.
Next up, we got a ton of Arrow announcements. First up, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is getting a 4K release. This is coming on May 22nd in the UK only. One important thing to point out is if you have the old Blu-ray hardbox release of this, this appears to only be a slipcover release, not a hardbox release. Huh. So they are stepping down on that, but it gets that 4K restoration. It gets all of the same special features, I believe, that were in the original, and it's probably going to look incredible.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I saw in the theater when I was in college, and it was the first Terry Gilliam movie I ever saw. Other than Monty Python and everything, and
right.
And I was floored. I somehow was both repulsed by and admiring of Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro. Like I wanted to hang out with them briefly.
So this movie is one of a couple movies that struck me when I was very young and made it a little more personal for me. This is one that was special because I grew up in Barstow. And
really?
The first line of this film is we were somewhere around Barstow on the edge of the desert when the drugs began to take hold. And I grew up in that Barstow town. And wow. So, I lived in the middle of nowhere for years and years. And it was a wonderfully terrible place to live. So to hear it like validated in pop culture was interesting, and that continued to get worse and worse. The next time it was really made popular was Julia Roberts bringing Aaron Brockovich to our town, and there's been a couple other times, but Fear and Loathing is a wonderfully trippy movie. Absolutely enjoy this one. Just a heads up, if you're in the US, this will likely get a 4K release from Criterion. And probably sooner than later, now that Arrow has announced it, I'm sure that they will just use the same 4K transfer. And, good movie.
Yeah, it is. I saw some comments saying, Griffrey Duck says he never really liked it because not into druggy type flicks. And that's legit. This is not for everybody. But it has a quality that definitely led me to other Gilliam movies and now I've seen almost, I think, all of them. And Sarah Polley has some important points to be made. Let's not forget that. But this is something.
Next up, we are getting the beta test from 2021. This is coming to Arrow on May 8th in the UK only. This is Eyes Wide Shut meets Office Space, The Player, and Black Mirror.
Stop it right there. I'm ready.
Right? I don't know. I've not seen this one yet. I've wanted to see all of the Jim Cummings stuff because I've heard that he's incredible. I've still not seen Thunder Road or The Wolf of Snow Hollow, Have you seen either of those yet?
No, same. It's on the list. I think this one might have to be first, though.
Yeah, I've heard both up and down things about this one. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm picturing masked people screwing each other in cubicles.
Begging for staplers back. We get an audio commentary by directors Jim Cummings and PJ McCabe. Sex Lies in Purple Envelopes, a visual essay by author and film scholar Alexandra Heller-Nicholas. There's a visual essay by author and critic Guy Adams, a making of. And then disc 2 on this has some short films, which is really cool. This is part of the limited edition only. So this is going to be, if you get the slipcover release, it'll have this disc. If you get it later, it will not have that disc. It is a 2.5-hour collection of short films from the Sundance Award-winning filmmakers behind the beta test, including Corey Comes to Christmas, Parent Teacher, The Stop, Marty Loves Katie, Native Stand-Up, The Robbery, and Us Funny. Also includes a look behind the scenes and 2 hilarious short documentaries about attending Sundance in 2016 and 2017. I love that you had to add that. Let's see. Tom says, saw all 3 of those Jim Cummings films, enjoyed them all. He's really funny in beta test. Nice. Where do they keep all their pieces of flair? Let's see. I wanted to highlight Griff, who said, I hope I didn't insult anyone. I know I like crazy movies sometimes myself. Of course you didn't insult anybody. It's just different taste. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Every movie is somebody's favorite movie.
I've heard that somewhere.
I got it tattooed on my rib cage now.
I've considered it. The Last Starfighter is coming on 4K in the US and Canada. This is getting a brand new 4K restoration. Not a whole lot to say on this one because it just came out on Blu-ray not that long ago.
Yeah, I wonder what 4K is going to do to the CGI.
Yeah,
I think it is the first CGI. It doesn't even look as good as Jim Wynorski Komodo movies. And I think benefits from a little darkness and shadow, but maybe the 4K accentuates the darkness and shadow. I don't know.
Well, it should, especially if the HDR is done properly.
We'll see. I like The Last Starfighter. That was the first movie I ever saw in the theater.
Whoa, that's a good piece of trivia to share. Nice.
Yeah, I was like 5, maybe. When did it come out?
84.
84. I was 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hand of Death from 1976 is coming on May 9th in the US and Canada from Arrow as well. After a traitor of the Shaolin Temple, Shi Xiaofeng has eliminated thousands of his former colleagues in exchange for power from the Manchus under the Qing dynasty, a surviving master of Shaolin. Yun Fei is tasked with the mission of bringing Shi to justice. In order to defeat Shi's overwhelmingly large army, led by the ruthless Tu King, Yun Fei will need to team up with a skilled blacksmith, played by Jackie Chan, and a reluctant swordsman to beat the odds and avenge his fallen brothers.
Hey, John Woo before he was John Woo, Jackie Chan before he was Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung. I don't know. I think he was still Sammo Hung, but
he probably weighed 30 pounds less than.
I cannot wait for this one. Very excited.
Yeah, this one has a new feature commentary by Frank Jang and Michael Worth. There is some archival featurettes and some never-before-seen archive interviews with some people. It just looks like a pretty solid release overall.
Yep. Fantastic.
Black Hat by one up-and-coming director named Michael Mann is coming on 4K in the US, Canada, and UK from Arrow on May 30th. This is the 2015 film with Chris Hemsworth, and then in parentheses they say, from the Avengers. This one is praised for its unusually accurate portrayal of cybersecurity. Black Hat boasts an impressive international cast, and it showcases one of cinema's finest filmmakers bringing the skills he honed during a long and storied career to bear on a distinctly 21st century phenomenon. Have you seen Black Hat yet?
No, I haven't, but it's already 7 years old, so its take on cybersecurity can't be anywhere near accurate now.
Right.
Michael Mann's a filmmaker who I never really got into. I know some of my students are always trying to get me into Michael Mann, and I'm gonna do a reappraisal. I'm gonna watch this and Heat and Manhunter and all that stuff. Maybe even Miami Vice. I don't know.
I feel like Black Hat is a weird place to start for a reappraisal for Michael Mann.
Might be helpful for me.
Well, John Namarsico, who I usually trust, says the man doesn't miss. Love Black Hat.
I'll take that endorsement.
Nice. All right. One thing that seemed to be making some people super confused this week. Arrow posted this, which said, we have some change to limited editions. We understand how important it is to know which extra physical materials, such as booklets and slipcovers, come with the titles you buy. We've been listening carefully to your feedback and have been working to make some changes so it's clearer for you to know exactly what comes with each title. They say from today, which was the 24th of February, all limited edition releases will include a booklet and a slipcover. Once the limited edition version has sold out, we will release a special edition which will not include a booklet or slipcover, but will have all the same on-disc extras as the limited edition. Please note that the discs or on-disc content marked as limited edition exclusive will not be carried over, which is an odd way to say that. Going forward, if you buy a new title that is a limited edition, you can be sure you will receive a booklet and slipcover. On rare occasions where this isn't the case, this will be clearly marked on the product page. Now, a lot of people took this as them saying we are not going to be doing hard box releases anymore.
Well,
I don't read that. I don't read that at all. What I'm getting out of this is that they had some complaints that were coming mostly from a few years ago. And if you just got into Arrow over the last couple of years, this probably didn't affect you as much. But they had put out, let's see, what's a good example? Heathers. Heathers was a big title, and it had a slipcover for a long time. But I don't think it had a booklet for all of these slipcover releases. So they released their first printing of the title with the slipcover, but they printed so many slipcovers that they could keep putting slipcovers on their second and third printing for a while because it's such a big title. And those didn't get booklets in it. So people were upset if it came with the slip and not a booklet. And all they're trying to say is if it comes with a slip, it'll have a booklet from now on.
Oh, the controversy. The stress and anxiety. Will I get my booklet?
It's a big deal for a lot of people.
Oh, I understand. But the verbiage is just so... I'm laughing at the verbiage of the announcement.
I agree.
It seems so very precise and yet still confusing. I feel like Lewis Carroll wrote that.
I agree with Anthony. Why would you release a limited edition and then your standard edition is called a special edition? How is that special?
That's what's making me laugh.
I am so confused on why you would make that choice.
Yeah. Oh no. And now will there be a standard edition as well? It's just a loose disc in a plastic bag.
It's just a little cardboard mailer with crudely drawn Heathers standard edition, and then below that not special edition, below that not limited edition, and then they're going to put out a statement that says, by the way, standard editions will also not include the booklet.
Well,
oh man,
we know where we stand, I think.
Let's move on from Kino Lorber. Yeah. You Can Never Tell from 1951 with Dick Powell and Peggy Dow is coming. I know nothing about this one.
Okay. Dick Powell is a dog that's been turned into a man. That's the pitch. It's like, hey, you know that moderately charismatic guy you've seen in all the Busby Berkeley musicals? Well, now he's going to pretend he's a dog in the form of a man.
I
I
wow.
can't wait to see this, dude.
I am curious too. This is from 1951. How many sexist jokes are going to come with that?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be plenty.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of, I, just last. So I'm working on. I'm working on a. So I just pulled it up. Oh man, actually no, I don't. I'll save that story for later. So a German Shepherd named King is a very wealthy dog. He inherits the fortune of his eccentric master who's died, and so now all these people are trying to kill the dog, and they do kill the dog. He's poisoned, and his caretaker is blamed for the murder, and so the soul of the dog begs God to send him back to Earth to clear her name, and God puts him in the body of Dick Powell. That's the actual synopsis. I really can't wait to see this now.
I I was very confused at first what you were reading. That just made it so much better.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I know nothing about this movie except for what I just found on the blessed
Please
internet.
tell me like John Wayne plays dog or God or something like that. Wow.
Wouldn't that be great? Anthony says, I hope someone adds this info on Does the Dog Die website. Because
the answer is it's got an asterisk and it says momentarily.
Oh man, this is going to be great.
Kino is releasing a William Holden film from 1953 on 4K with HDR and Dolby Vision. This is Stalag, I can't read, 17. This is a big deal. This is co-written and directed by Billy Wilder.
Oh yeah.
And they continue to put out some major classic films on 4K. This also has Otto Preminger in it and Peter Graves, Don Taylor, Robert Strauss, Harvey Lembeck,
Neville Brand for all you Toby Hooper fans out there. I love this movie. This is a concentration camp movie. These are POWs in a concentration camp, and I tell you, all right, I'm going to save the comment that I was about to make before discovering what that movie was about. But here's another comment that's kind of a contradiction to the theme of the month. So when I was in high school, like many high schoolers of my generation, I discovered the musical geniuses known as the Bloodhound Gang. You ever hear of the Bloodhound Gang? Yeah. And they have this song that has a sample in it. And it's a song about it's a song that's quite demeaning to women, and pays attention to their bodies in disrespectful ways, as most Bloodhound Gang songs do. So they have this sample in it in one of the songs off their first album, and it was a weird sample. And years later, I watched Stalag 17 for the first time, and I hear one of the POWs in the concentration camp go, "Look at all that meat. Ain't she the bitter end?" And I was like, holy shit. Bloodhound Gang sampled Stalag 17. And that's where it came from.
Oh boy. Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to see this one. I have never seen this one, and
great.
Wilder's obviously amazing. Speaking of amazing, I couldn't even keep a straight face. Shop Factory. They had some announcements this week, and we seem to do this every single month. And I don't want to just keep harping on the re-releases, so we'll just talk about the quality of this film. Skyline is getting released on 4K from Scream Factory. This is from 2010.
Is this anybody who's watching right now? Is this any of your favorite movie?
This was Donald Faison's favorite movie for like 12 minutes. I don't like this movie at all.
I have not seen it. Yeah.
That being said, I'm glad it's getting a release. It probably will look okay in 4K. Uh, I don't know if this is going to sell very well, especially. I mean, even the slipcover collectors. There's no slipcover. It's not a collector's edition. Just regular 4K release. And the sad thing is, they probably got this in a bundle with a few other films, and there was just no real way to shine this turd to look like something that people were going to want. So we're getting it, and it's coming out. And yeah, we'll go to the next title. On May 9th, Scream Factory, or Shout Factory, I guess, is putting out the Tiger Cage collection. This is obviously another version of the Tiger Cage trilogy that was previously released in the UK from 88 Films. And if you order from Shout Factory, you'll get a poster of the cover art. They have not announced the extras yet, as per Shout Factory always does. But glad this is getting a US release.
Oh, yeah. I have not seen these films, and I'm very excited about them, especially after seeing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again, and just being floored by Wen Ping's choreography.
Yeah, we got some good stuff coming, other than Skyline. Highwaymen, starring Jim Caviezel. Caviezel? What is? I don't remember the rest of the Family Guy joke about Caviezel's last name. This is from 2004. And I hear, I've never seen this one. I hear it's not great, but I hear it's got a really good opening. Have you seen this one?
No. And God, what a retrograde cover art. I mean,
yeah.
How. I like Rona Mitra. She's a pretty good actress. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to check this out for the first time. They are also putting out a double feature of Conquest of Space and I Married a Monster from Outer Space, both of which were previously released by Imprint.
Yes.
And I'm glad these are both coming.
I Married a Monster from Outer Space is really good. It is a really good movie. Yeah. I've not seen Conquest of Space.
I think I Married a Monster was like the second or third spine from Imprint, and a lot of people missed out on that one. And yeah, this is a good time to see this movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Let's see. Next up, on May 30th, on 4K, we are getting The Haunting from 1999. This is the star power-filled movie with Owen Wilson, Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Lily Taylor. Yeah. What positive stories are you going to give us about this one?
I love these last few Shout Factory releases. I love the responses that are in the Instagram posts, like everyone just trashing them.
Yeah.
And they're correct. I mean, Jan de Bont. I really wish that this was a 4K release of Robert Wise's The Haunting from 1963, which has some of the greatest sound design in any horror movie ever. This is I want to see the scene where Owen Wilson gets his head cut off, right?
In a chimney, yeah.
In a chimney. I guess we'll see that in high definition. Wow.
I mean, I gotta be honest, this movie isn't great, but the 4K will actually probably really help the visuals in this movie.
Yeah. Because
it is a pretty dark one.
I'll give this a rewatch. I mean, look at that cast. This would be like like if I'm having a couple drinks and I'm going to start a second movie before going to bed, put that on.
Stan had a question. That double feature, is it going to be separate discs or two to a disc? Kind of bad news. Usually when Shout Factory is doing separate discs, they will have a little insignia on the side of the case that says 2 discs. And if you go back and look at this one, there is nothing on the disc that says 2 discs. So it's likely a single disc, which we'll see. Next up, The Morning After is coming on May 30th from Shout. This is from 1986 with Jane Fonda, Jeff Bridges, Raul Julia, Kathy Bates, and directed by a little indie director.
Never heard of him.
This is a big deal. I'm glad this one is coming out. This was a nice like cap on a pretty meh month from Shout Factory for me,
Yeah,
and this is one that I'm going to be jumping on fairly quickly.
for sure.
Any interesting trivia that you prepared for the morning after?
No, this one I have not seen. And the cast and the director, Sidney Lumet, tell me that.
Oh, I forgot I didn't actually say the name after that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm super excited about it.
Let's see. Yeah, this looks like a solid release. And then they are re-releasing already on 4K.
Like 2 months ago, it just came out.
2000. Well, a couple months ago, everybody got the replacement disc. It actually came out a couple months prior.
I know.
2001's Brotherhood of the Wolf is coming on 4K from Shout Factory. It looks like they are giving us no new extras at the moment. They do say final extras and specs will be announced, but they also listed all the previous extras, which means we're still getting all the same things from that one. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't add anything. Probably.
Yeah.
Do you like this one? I like this one enough. It's not great. The CG on the wolf is going to look really bad. I can guarantee it looked really bad on Blu-ray.
I was really excited when I saw this for the first time. I can't remember. Let's see. This would have been the era where I was not really on the internet because it was 2001. I remember reading in magazines about it, and it was so hyped. And then I got a DVD from this new company called Netflix, and watched it, and I was just kind of underwhelmed. The fight choreography wasn't as good as I thought it would be. The wolf didn't look that great.
There was no Iron Chefs.
None at all. So I probably won't be revisiting this one. But for those who like it and haven't already bought the Blu-ray, here you go.
Yeah. Again, the story on this one's fun. It's a little long, and it probably most of the movie will look a lot better in 4K. But oh god, the CG in this movie is very 2001, which is to say, it is very not good. So yeah, I'm curious at least to see how they uptick that at all. All right, we got a release date of May 2nd for cinema, or I guess the Dark Side of Cinema number 13, the film noir collection from Kino Lorber. This one is going to have Spy Hunt, The Night Runner, Step Down to Terror, and we got some new audio commentaries and some new 2K scans on this. We got an audio commentary for Spy Hunt by Brian Reisman and Max Every. The Night Runner has one by Lee Gambin and Dr. Eloise Roz. Step Down to Terror has one by Brian Reisman and Max Every as well. Kino and Noir, this is basically a weekly occurrence at this point.
Yeah, and they really are getting, especially in the last 4 or 5 of these, getting really titles that are obscure to me, at least.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing where if it's on a sale, I will definitely pick up and look through those movies, because there's always a gem or two in these sets. But I'm partial to noir, although sometimes they get movies in there that aren't really noirish.
Yeah, they're just trying to package them.
There might be a thriller element, but it's not like I'm seeing expressionist lighting or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
On May 2nd, from Paramount, we are getting a 4K of Deep Impact from 1996. Was this the cinematic high point of asteroid films for you?
I never saw it.
Really?
I remember. So this is when I was working in a video store, and it seemed like all I was doing was putting up boxes of Titanic, Armageddon, and Deep Impact. But by that point, I had already found my way to Street Trash and Frankenhooker, and I wasn't watching any. I think Independence Day was the last blockbuster movie I saw for years and years and years. And I didn't like Independence Day. I thought it was stupid. which is it's okay if other people like it, but I didn't like it.
Independence Day is no Men in Black, that's for sure.
Yeah. But Deep Impact, I think I've seen like clip reels of some of its special effects, and for 1996, it looked pretty good. I guess I don't know what is, but I don't know if my memory is correct. You're looking at your face tells me I'm maybe remembering it better than it is.
Yeah, Deep Impact, I do not love. I was an Armageddon fan for a couple hours after I saw it, and this one, it's just not the same. I still wish we could go back to those competing times where we get two very similar blockbusters come out within 4 months of each other. And
now, after slagging on the film, I do want to point out that this was a blockbuster, unusual at the time because it was directed by a woman, Mimi Leder,
who has a commentary on this.
Yeah, I would really be interested in that. How the movie was made, and what she was working with special effects wise. So I might give this a rent.
Special effects in '96 to put out a movie like this, that had to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I still have Netflix disc account, so I still rent things.
Wow. Oh yeah, I guess the year on here is right. It's 1998, not 1996.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sibner. Sardis says Armageddon sucked. Armageddon did suck. It's still not great.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah, Ants in a Bug Life is a good one. Volcano and oh god, what was the other one that came out around Volcano?
Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak. I love Dante's Peak. There was nothing believable about Dante's Peak, but that movie was so much more entertaining than Volcano. That was a good time.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan versus a volcano. That's cool.
In a lake eating up a boat as you're trying to row across it. Come on, that's pure cinema. This one is interesting. So out of nowhere, well, first of all, for those that haven't checked, Shout Factory got a new website, and it has been not great to say the least. Very reminiscent of their recent slate, but when they put out the announcements this month, suddenly a day later, this title crept up, and it is Demon of Paradise from 1987. And you can't see this on their website anymore. The page was pulled because it was showing a release date of March 28th. I'm assuming this is about to be released as a site exclusive with 1,500 limited copies, bull crap like they always do. This one, though, didn't have that verbiage on there. And it was, like I said, it was there for like 12 or 16 hours and then gone. You couldn't actually check out with it. But this is probably about to come out in probably not this weekend, but the following weekend. It'll probably actually get officially on their website.
They do curate the near complete filmography of Cirio H. Santiago, the king of Filipino exploitation films, and I'll see this.
And only up to 1,500 people can.
Worth it.
Let's see. Sibner says the fact that I'm happy just to be able to scroll and not have the website go berserk is not a good sign. Yeah, that's the Shout Factory website lately. Okay, so this made some major waves when I posted this. First off, I have never in my short disconnected life had any of my announcements do anything crazy on Twitter or anything like that. Nothing yet like this got 4,000 likes or anything like that. This announcement on Twitter has 106,000 views so far.
What?
I don't know why. So, and the sad thing is, it's for a Mill Creek title.
Maybe it was people looking to see if you included some screenshots of some of
Mark Ruffalo taking a pee. So on May 16th, we are getting a standalone Blu-ray release of In the Cut from Mill Creek. Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, this is going to be on high def. It was already on a double pack Blu-ray, I believe. So this isn't like the major deal that a lot of people were treating it as such. Yeah, it's cool that it's getting a standalone release, I guess, and a lot of people will get the chance to see this again. And yeah, if you've ever wanted to take a look at Meg Ryan in some precarious positions, this could be a good movie.
I mean, this is Jane Campion, and it's kind of Jane Campion doing a exploitation thriller, and I liked it. It got terrible reviews, but I really enjoyed it. Not for any prurient reasons, although certainly I have eyes, and Meg Ryan and Mark Ruffalo are attractive people. But yeah, I'm looking forward to rewatching this because all I have is
I'll be getting it.
A muddy looking DVD, and any improvement image wise will be worth checking out.
Sibner says double pack, try 5-pack. The 5-pack was DVD. It was on a double pack on Blu-ray with the movie Trapped. From what year was that one? From like 2002 or 3, I think. So yeah, it's probably gonna be a solid release. Is Ruffalo in Hulk mode or just regular? Well, you see his little marky mark.
It's a Mark Buffalo shot.
Oh man. All right, let's go to the next one. April 25th, Sandpiper is putting out 4 more releases, 3 of which kind of go together, and then one of which is really odd to release with the other 3, as usual. We get Elvis Presley and Kid Galahad. We get The Fantastics, the Michael Ritchie film. We get Stanley Iris with Jane Fonda, or Stanley and Iris, sorry, with Jane Fonda and Robert De Niro. And then, of course, Crocodile Hunter Collision Course.
Well, the real gem in there is Stanley and Iris, the Martin Ritt film. Twilight Time had put out a version of it several years ago. I don't know if this will be a new scam. Probably not. No. The Elvis Presley movie is, it's okay. I've not seen The Fantastics. I have seen the Crocodile Hunter movie, and man, I'm still sad about Steve Irwin. I tell you what.
Honestly, same. Back
in the day, like when I was in school, the Crocodile Hunter used to air at like 3 a.m. On, I don't even know if it was Animal Planet or something. He wasn't a star over here yet. And me and some buddies would like drink beers and watch this show with this crazy Australian guy that was getting the fuck bitten out of him by every animal in the outback and falling down and stuff. It was great. I ordered a VHS tape off of a TV advertisement that was just Crocodile Hunter bloopers. And I wore it out. It was so funny. And then he kind of cleaned up his act when he became a worldwide brand. But I loved the Crocodile Hunter. And I'm so sad for his passing. I'll probably watch this again and be nostalgic.
For the record, 3 out of the 4 of these all came out from Twilight Time previously.
Which one didn't? Can you guess?
I was going to ask trivia and give away a $50 gift card to Grindhouse Video. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. This is a weird one to follow up. Hi Diddle Diddle is coming from Classic Flicks as part of their Silver Series line. This is coming on May 23rd, and you were excited about this one. So this one's noteworthy for 2 things. First, the presence of silent screen legend Pola Negri, a comic riot as the opera-singing wife of Menju, and her first English language film since 1932's A Woman Commands. And the second is the surrealistic animated wallpaper, which comes to life later in the film, courtesy of the Leon Schlesinger Studios.
I am super excited to see this, actually. But the reason I'm laughing is because I was texting to the audience. I was texting with Ryan about all the announcements that are coming out, and I was just sending one title at a time with exclamation points, and he would respond, and then I wrote, "And hi Diddle Diddle," and for some reason that just makes me laugh. Like,
I feel like that's when I blocked you.
I can't believe Hi Diddle Diddle's coming out. Oh my God. That's it. I do want to see it.
I don't know that this is the final artwork, Anthony. I think Classic Flicks changes this up eventually. I don't have one of these Silver Series line, although this might be the final artwork because it's part of this line, and then they might have the actual original art on the other side. If Ice is watching, because I know sometimes Ice watches and comments later. If you are, chime in because I know that he's got a few of these. Let me know what they look like. Let's see. Celeste is here. Hello.
Hey, oh man. Celeste and I are going to be having a conversation later this month. I'm hoping. So stay tuned. I'm really excited.
Next up, oh god! All right, so we're getting into the 88 films releases,
Yes.
and this is wild because, as everybody knows, 88 films they forget that they're supposed to hype up their announcements for a few months at a time, and then suddenly they're like, "Oh yeah, we should tell everybody that we still release movies." And they put out all of the announcements for an entire quarter of films. So let's travel to 88 Films Land for a little while. First, we knew this one was coming. This has been kind of teased for a little while, but we didn't know any of the extras or anything. We are getting a release of Tentacles in the UK from 88 Films. This has the Kino Lorber release, but it was essentially bare bones. There was nothing on it except maybe a commentary. This release, however, gets an audio commentary with Troy Howarth, Nathaniel Thompson, and Eugenio Ercolani. There's an interview with a bunch of the people that were associated with this film because Ercolani did some of the producing on this and sat and interviewed a bunch of the Italian people that were actually on set or the filmmakers for this. And that includes an interview with Luigi Cozzi.
Nice.
Which is a huge upgrade from the Kino Lorber release.
Love eco horror movies. Shelley Winters versus an octopus. Yes, please.
Yeah, this looks solid. Next up, they got some release details for Ark of the Sun God. This is coming on 4K in the UK on April 10th. This is getting an audio commentary with Eugenio Ercolani and Troy Howarth. There's a featurette called Assembling the Ark, and then some sketches and credits. And yeah, that is this one. Do you know Ark of the Sun God much?
Oh, I can't wait to see this. Antonio Margaretti, such a great filmmaker. He made your Hunter of the Future, 7 Deaths of the Cat's Eye, a bunch of Hercules movies. Antonio Margaretti is great. Very excited about this.
Keep it going for one that a lot of people are excited about. God of Gamblers is coming on April 10th in the UK. This is the Chow Yun-Fat film. Also has in Andy Lau. This is getting original Cantonese mono audio with the English subs, alternate Cantonese mono audio, and or 5.1, sorry, with English subs. Audio commentary with David West, and then some archival interviews with Chow Yun-Fat, Andy Lau, and Wang Jing. And really good-looking art. Honestly, the cover for this alone is astonishing.
There's another one that I'm excited about just because I've heard of it and never had a chance to see it. So this is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely.
And what are we? Are we still in April?
Yeah, this is still April.
Wow.
And our first one in May is a 4K release of Burial Ground. This is coming on May 29th in the UK only. On 4K, and this is getting a 4K restoration from the Best Surviving Elements, which is a 35mm blow-up interpositive. We are getting an audio commentary with Nathaniel Thompson, Troy Howarth, and Eugenio Ercolani. Audio commentary that was archived from Calum Waddell and John Martin. Interview with Peter Bark at Via Parisi, which is really cool. The Borders of the Extreme, an interview with Eugenio Ercolani himself. Interview with Pierpaolo De Sanctis, and then What the Fuck? That's the name of this featurette. The films of Andrea Bianchi. Interview with critic Michael Coven, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, I think, but Severin has already confirmed that they are putting this out in the US on 4K, which everybody probably already saw that coming.
Yeah, they had to kind of speed up their announcement. This is not my favorite Andrea Bianchi film, but it's one that everybody needs to see at some point. What else can you say about Burial Ground? My God.
Yeah, this is an odd one. Yeah. I'd seen it on DVD ages ago. My Blu-ray is still sitting here sealed, of course.
Ah,
We'll go to the next one, which is Code of Silence, coming on May 29th from 88 in the UK. Chuck Norris, Henry Silva film. That's Chuck Norris. That's enough for me to say no thank you.
yeah, I'm not a Chuck Norris fan. I've got the Missing in Action films, and I like making. The Octagon is funny because it's so bad.
Yeah.
But everything else, I'm just kind of.
John says I need to watch what I buy. I watched the DVD and then sold that when I bought the Blu-ray. Come on. Next up, on May 29th in the UK, they are giving us The Bloody Judge with Christopher Lee from 1977. The synopsis says Sir Christopher Lee plays the Lord Chief Justice of 17th century England who condemns women as witches to further his political and sexual needs.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen The Bloody Judge. Have you?
Oh, yes. Many times. For it is a Jess Franco film.
I forgot it was Jess Franco.
And Blue Underground put out the DVD. I don't think there's a Blu-ray of it, so this will be a nice.
Not in the US, yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Celeste says, "What a hideous cover, woof." Joe Jack says, "Is there any argument to be made to upgrade from Blu-ray to 4K on a film like Burial Ground?" In short, yes. Actually, there is a lot more detail that can be pulled out in these. Not to mention, a lot of these older, especially like the older Italian films, it was filmed in a very dark environment, and with HDR, you're going to actually get the detail out of the dark environments, which you don't get just on Blu-ray.
Yeah, this really brings out the performance of the nursing scene. You get to see really get to see the lip action on the.
Notice I'm very keen to get away from the nursing story so I could talk about the untold story.
Go to the cannibalism then.
Please. May 29th, 88 Films in the UK only, obviously, because Unearthed Films did it in the US. They are putting out the untold story from 93. This is a wonderful movie. I love this movie. I'm glad it's getting released over there. I feel like they said that this is going to be uncut in the UK, but I don't know. That seems unlikely with the UK being as the UK is. Hopefully it's uncut.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Anthony Wong's great in it. Oh gosh, Celeste. Yes.
Coming on June 12th from 88 Films in the US and UK, we are getting Magic Cop from 1990. This is the Ching Ying Lam film, who is in Enter the Dragon. He faces a new supernatural challenge. Someone is using the living dead to smuggle drugs into modern-day Hong Kong, and only Lam's officer Feng, policeman and Taoist master, can stop them, proving the power of traditional Chinese magic in the process. Mixing comedy, action, and esoteric lore, Magic Cop sees the incomparable Lam at his brilliant best. Bonus features, we're going to get a soundtrack with newly translated English subs and an audio commentary by the one and only Frank Chang.
Fantastic. Was this Mr. Vampire 5, I think?
Something like that.
Yeah, cool.
And then they are giving us Taxi Hunter on June 12th as well. This is coming in both the US and the UK. This one, I don't know. I did not do my research on this one like I should have. This one got a lot of comment action because 88 Films came out and said, one of the most infamous movies branded with Hong Kong's adults-only Cat 3 rating. But if you look, they didn't use their pretty standard Cat 3 branding on the side. And I don't think this is Cat 3. I think this was only Cat 2A. So interesting that they're going with that synopsis. This one says, Taxi Hunter bravely bravely tackles the underexplored scourge of unprofessional taxi drivers. After his pregnant wife is perish through the actions of a careless and callous cabbie, mild-mannered Ah Kin, who is played by Anthony Wong, declares war on the entire profession, and you don't need the knowledge to know he won't be leaving a tip. Directed by Herman Yao, who unleashed Ebola syndrome on us, 88 Films are pleased to present this important treatise on public transport in a wonderful new Blu-ray edition.
Well, Celeste is tearing it up in the comment.
Hey, Dragon's here. Dragon says Untold Story is uncut in the UK. That's fantastic. By the way, if somebody has not watched it yet, please watch my video that went up this week with Fanatical Dragon. It was a fun one. We talk about a bunch of premium editions, and he is the absolute best person to talk to about that stuff. 88 Films just continuing to tear us up. They are also putting out Zombie Holocaust, which is, I believe, Dr. Butcher, MD from Severin. This is coming out on June 26th on 4K, and this is only coming in the UK because Severin has also confirmed that they are putting this out on 4K in the US.
I much prefer the Dr. Butcher, MD title for obvious reasons. And this movie's pretty fun, though. I enjoy it.
This is a very zealous piece of cover art for it, though. They are also giving us this really cool trilogy box set, the Stephen Chow collection called Fight Back to School 1 to 3 from 91, 92, and 93. And this is going to have HD presentations of all three films, newly translated subs, audio commentaries by Frank Jang on all three films, and FJ DeSanto is also on them. And I mean, this is just a really cool box set that honestly I didn't think was going to get any sort of release. This is pretty great.
Hell yeah, we need more Stephen Chow.
Agreed. I think we only got one or two left. We got Twin Dragons with Jackie Chan and Maggie Chung. This is coming on June 26th in the UK, and this is one of their deluxe collector's editions, so I believe this will be one of those hard boxes that they do, kind of like they did for The Young Master over there. Nice. And June 26th, and they have not announced extras on this one, so we shall see what comes. More Chan is always appreciated.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here is that confirmation. So Severin, after they saw the 88 Films announcements, they wanted to come out a little bit ahead of the game, which they didn't have to do this. So I'm really glad that they came out and said this. They said, to avoid marketplace confusion, we wanted to let our North American customers know that in addition to all the new titles that we're dropping in 2023, we are working on 4K upgrades of many of our more popular catalog titles like House on the Edge of the Park, Burial Ground, Zombie Holocaust, aka Dr. Butcher MD, and more. New 4K scans from negatives, HDR, Dolby Vision color correction, and additional special features. Announcements will hit when the extensive work is done on the new masters. And yes, this gives everybody the heads up that you don't need to double dip if you are looking for these titles specifically and you're in the US, because they will get you. And it sounds like they're working on new special features for them too, which is a nice thing to see compared to some of these other upgrades that we're getting.
Hit me up. I can talk about Dr. Butcher MD all day.
I just hope their 4K release also comes with the barf bag like the Blu-ray copy did.
Yeah.
I've got... Oh, I must have taken it down and put it back in the case. I had the barf bag hanging from my shelf for 2.5 years straight, at least. Okay. Should we take a break or something? I'm just kidding. We have so many OCN announcements to break into. My goodness. So first off, Vinegar Syndrome for the month of March. They are giving us Freeway 2, Confessions of a Trick Baby on 4K. This is the front of the slip, and this is the wonderful back. This is the Matthew Bright directed sequel to Freeway that we just got at the end of 2022. And I'm so glad that we are getting this. Dark Force had previously released this on Blu-ray, and it had been very difficult to track down. So yeah, I'm glad that other people are going to get a chance to see this one.
Yeah. Super excited. I've never seen it. But as I mentioned last time, Freeway was a movie that it took me a while to get into. And now that I've gotten to see it, the Vinegar Syndrome release, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. So now I'm ready for Freeway 2.
Nice. This one has a brand new making of documentary with the cast and crew that's almost 100 minutes long. We have a 2018 interview with Matthew Bright. We've got an interview with the producer Chris Hanley from 2018 as well. This looks like a solid release and coming on 4K. That's pretty great that we're getting both of the Freeway films in 4K, and eager to see how this one looks because I really like Freeway 1. Freeway 2, it's not quite as good. And for those that don't know, the first Freeway is a play on the Little Red Riding Hood film, and this one, if you aren't excited for Natasha Lyonne, Vincent Gallo, and then John Landis is in this. This is also a take on a fairy tale. This is the Hansel and Gretel story.
Cool.
Will seems like he needs a nap.
I'm saying that.
We're okay. Mexican Gothic, the films of Carlos Enrique Taboada is coming out this month. That's probably not how you say the last name. I'm white. I apologize. This looks amazing. And funny enough, I feel like a lot of people were talking about Poison for the Fairies over the last month, not knowing that this was coming out. And suddenly, this got announced that we're getting Poison for the Fairies, Darker Than Night, and Rapina in this. And I mean, this looks like a solid little box set. These are all presented in their original Spanish language with newly translated subs. There is a video essay on Poison for the Fairies from film scholar Valeria Villegas. There's a video essay with genre film scholar Valeria Villegas also on Darker Than Night. Excuse me. And then another one on Rapina. He is on all three of those, or she, I believe that's a he. I may be wrong there. I apologize. Valeria does sound like a female now. I'm white. I apologize. Is the pull quote? It's yes. It's dedicated to Women's Appreciation Month. Celeste, come on. These look decent though, and Poison for the Fairies is supposed to be pretty good. Like a lot of people were stumping for this one to be a Severin Kids release, and yeah, I'm eager to see all three of these actually.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see all of the attention being paid to Mexican horror and exploitation over the past several months. I've never seen these, but it's been kind of exciting to see how excited people are in the comments and forums about these movies. So I'm glad I'm a subscriber.
Good. The other subscriber release this month is a 4K release of Primal Rage from 1988. This is it's a decent movie. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from the OCN. Of course, this is a primal baboon killer film. And here is the back of the slip. It says she'll bring out the beast in you. We get an 86-minute brand new making of documentary with the cast and crew on this. And then a video interview with the producer from 2020. And yeah, this should be a good release.
Got me at Patrick Lowe.
Primal Rage had previously been released by Dark Force as well, so it's kind of interesting to see a double up on their releases this month. So yeah, curious to see if they are able to keep that going, because a lot of the Dark Force releases are very underwhelming, in my opinion. DC says, "I'm white, I apologize," is on a t-shirt available in the Discord merch shop. We don't have a Discord merch shop, but now we might have to. The VSA line continues this month with a title that looks like this would have been ripe for Severin to put out, and supposedly Severin had tried to get this. This is Romano Scavallini's Dog Tags from 1987, and even the back of this, that looks like a Severin cover.
Yeah, it does.
This is a Vietnam War film, and it says a special unit of Army Rangers is sent to rescue a small group of fellow soldiers being held as prisoners of war. After freeing the men, their next step is to reach a safe zone in order to be airlifted to safety. However, their plans change when a mysterious Captain Newport gives the men a new mission: find a downed helicopter in order to retrieve the classified information contained within. And on this one, we are getting a 52-minute interview with the writer and director Romano Scavolini. There's an interview with executive producer Arthur Schweitzer and an alternate ending.
Oh, I know nothing about this one.
Same.
I'm going to have to wait for a sale, though.
Well, you're a subscriber, and the sale price will never be lower than if you use your discount on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you get the exact 50% off.
Damn. I spent all my points on OCN releases, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes, we will. But I was not expecting another Picorama title already. They are giving us Babe from 1981. This is a decent-looking film. I've actually not seen this one. This gets a new scan and restoration in 4K from the OCN. There's a new audio interview with the screenwriter Rick Marks on this one. And here is the back of the slipcover.
This would be a good double feature with Brewster's Millions.
Or Babe Pig in the City. That was a terrible joke.
Just make sure you're splitting your audience up.
Oh, look, Stan that was already on top of it. I wasn't even looking at the window. Oh, man, that was perfect.
Well, no, I happened to watch the trailer of this film, and the premise is similar to Brewster's Millions. The young woman there is promised a huge inheritance if she stops being a sex worker and gets married. She has 1 month to do so, or she loses all the money. So, that's an interesting print. Boobs.
I love when you paused to stop talking because you said that's an interesting boobs. DC in the chat says Boobster's Millions. Yes, that was absolutely stupendous timing. They also put up a couple new shirts in the merch for Vinegar Syndrome. They have this Glow Slime logo t-shirt that, of course, glows in the dark. And then they have this new Cranial Vision shirt, which also glows in the dark. Now, I got to ask, how did Vinegar Syndrome not have any glow-in-the-dark shirts before this? That seems like such an obvious move for them.
Well, you don't want to show your hand too early. You got to keep putting new things out to the audience. They're like,
they have sold everything else under the sun over the last 10 years.
Well, yeah, this is the 10 years. Like, we're not gonna give glow-in-the-dark shirts in year one. You know?
Yeah. Celeste says the green on white is atrocious. I admit it's not amazing, but it's also a glow-in-the-dark Vinegar Syndrome shirt. And Gary immediately says ordered.
But it's glow-in-the-dark on white. I don't know about that.
Anyways, let's get into some of the other stuff that was perhaps a little more exciting for some of us this month. Now, they had these soundtracks available on the website as well. 3 of these are from TerrorVision. One of them is from Not Dark Yet. They are selling a version of Neon Maniacs, the soundtrack. Brain Damage soundtrack.
Ooh.
Smile Before Death from Not Dark Yet. This is the soundtrack. And then the soundtrack to Things.
Oh, God. Trying to good.
Let's see. No one wants a black light around a Vinegar Syndrome shirt. Yes, that is absolutely true. And I love that. Yeah, Celeste says our comments look apropos right next to each other. Right above that, Celeste had said, still waiting on my Vinegar Syndrome sex toys. Again, I will throw out there, how is there not Picorama branded condoms yet? That is the most obvious selling point. That and then an eye patch for Thriller are the 2 things that I don't understand how we did not get. And I only say that partially in jest, because I think an eye patch with the Vinegar Syndrome logo on it probably would have sold very well. And there was an eye patch that was released with the new 4K version of Thriller for the German media book release. Anyways, let's get into some of these partner label releases, which made a lot of people excited. For the first time that we're going to talk about Deaf Crocodile tonight, this is Assassin of the Tsar, coming from 1991. This is the same director that did Zero Grad, and this is getting a new restoration from the 35mm Elements that was done by Mosfilm. New commentary track by Sam Deegan on this one. New essay by Walter Cha. New interview with Malcolm McDowell. New interview with the director as well. And then there's a Russian language version of the film with different edit and scores because they made this movie twice. Just like a lot of these old Russian films that Deaf Crocodile's done, they filmed the movie twice. Literally, with two different language versions. This is the front of the slip. This is the back. Have you watched many of the Deaf Crocodile releases so far?
Not a whole lot of them, but I did enjoy. Shit, what's the name of the movie? That
Zero Grad?
Yeah, Zero Grad. I thought that was pretty good. All right, the comments are right. I am tired, but I'm enjoying myself very much, and I'm glad to spend time with all of you.
And we're about 30% done.
Shit.
Next up, Beautiful Beings from Altered Innocence is now out and available for order. This is from 2022. This was Iceland's official submission for the Academy Awards over the last year. This gets a short film called Whale Valley, and this is about a boy raised by a clairvoyant mother who decides to adopt a bullied misfit into his gang of outsiders. Left to their own devices, the boys explore aggression and violence, but also learn about loyalty and love. As the group's behavior escalates towards life-threatening situations, Addie begins to experience a series of dreamlike visions. Can his newfound intuition guide him and his friends back to a safer path, or will they dive irrevocably into further violence? Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah, I ordered this already.
Altered Innocence is kind of amazing, like every single month.
All right, now it's getting personal. Stefano says I make Flip look lively, and
reminder that Flip essentially had a heart attack live on camera last year.
All right, what do you want from me? You want me to kick up my heels and do a dance turn here?
Well, let's talk about Breathless, from 1983. Fun City Editions is putting this one out, and supposedly this appears it will be the last release from Fun City on OCN, which means that second release of Primetime Panic, the box set 2, will likely be coming from MVD in the hopefully near future. This is the back of the Breathless slip, and of course in this one we've got Richard Gere. And this one gets a booklet with new essays by Margaret Barton Fumo and Christina Cacioppo. I'm definitely screwing that name up, sorry. New audio commentary by Glenn Kenny, newly filmed video interview with the director Jim McBride, and an alternate ending with director commentary and some deleted scenes with commentary as well. Breathless, I know this is one of that you wanted to talk about.
Well, I always studiously avoided this film because I was like, how dare you, do a remake of Godard. Now, of course, I realize, like so many things that I thought when I was young, that's a stupid opinion. So I'm really excited to see this. Maybe it's not great, maybe it's good, but I really do. I want to see it. So glad it's coming out.
Nice. What?
You.
What?
What?
What'd I do? So Calvaire from 2004 is coming out from Yellow Veil, and this one's exciting. I'm glad to finally be able to see a good release of this. For those that did not read this or look at the trailer for this one, in my opinion, this is my must-buy of the month. The synopsis for this says, Mark, a traveling entertainer, is on his way home for Christmas when his van breaks down in the middle of a village where he quickly falls victim to a dangerously unhinged innkeeper determined to keep him captive. For the first time in the U.S., Calvaire will be available in high definition. The HD remaster was created from the original print with new color grading, supervised by the original cinematographer Benoit Deby and director Fabrice Duweltz. This high watermark from the new French Extremity movement premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, followed by TIFF Midnight Madness. This is the back of the slip and looks stupendous.
Yeah, I already saw Celeste getting excited about that one. I think I am too. Very pleased.
Good. Let's see. So some details on this. We got HD remaster created from the original print with new color grading, like I said. Introduction from the director, commentary with the director, and the production designer. We've got some casting tapes, interview with the director, new transfer of the director's short film, A Wonderful Love. There is a behind-the-scenes slideshow, some production notes, and the original storyboard slideshow. And it just looks like a solid release. But yeah, this has Brigitte Lahaye is in this.
Hey.
This looks pretty stupendous. John says, give us insight on Blu-ray. Yeah. Brent Madison says, FYI, Calvaire is out on digital tomorrow. Where is it coming out on digital? That's really interesting. I'm glad that they're doing it. They've actually been playing, Yellow Veil has been touting this as a theatrical release, taking it around the country. So, yeah, I'm glad that it's getting some FaceTime with some people. Next up, The Flesh Merchant is coming from Culture Shock releasing. This has, I believe, Michelle Bauer, right?
Yeah. Ooh,
yeah.
Joe Estevez.
Yeah, Michelle Bauer, Joe Estevez, and then C. Courtney Joyner is in this one as well. Detective Darlene Paxton has a sweet but naive sister who wants to become an actress. The sister serves booze and skimpy clothes at a sleazy bar, hoping for that big break. But this bar is frequented by devious predators of young flesh. Soon, Darlene and her partner Mac are scouring the city to track down her missing sister. What they find is a savage and sinister sex trafficking ring running right in downtown Hollywood. We get a new commentary by the director, new interview with the director, the producer, and actor Neil DeLama, and then some new interviews with the producer and actor James Adam Tucker. Culture Shock.
Cool.
Have you gotten anything from Culture Shock? I know you had a Girlfriend from Hell, right?
Yeah, which I wanted to like more than I actually did end up liking.
Culture, the Girlfriend from Hell release, like the vibe was there, but it just didn't quite deliver.
Yeah, that movie had everything going for it and just didn't deliver for me. But it had some stuff. And I couldn't tell you. I'm sure I have a couple of other titles from them, but that I maybe haven't looked at yet.
I would agree with John Peters. Culture Shock has had some odd releases lately. They've kind of been all over the place style-wise. Yeah, it's been interesting to track what they're trying to put out, and I can't quite put my finger on what their like brand is, because it seems like half the stuff is shot on video, half the stuff is 80s almost classics, but they don't quite deliver. I'm curious to see how they develop over the next year or so.
I picked up Deathcember and Mind, Body, and Soul. I'm excited about both of those. I hope they're as good as their casts.
I've heard that Deathcember is not. I've not watched it yet.
Boo! Oh, I got Game of Survival too. Hope that's good. I haven't watched it yet.
Next up, Canadian International Pictures is dropping Gina from 1975. Have you seen this one? Because you sound excited.
This has been on my list of movie that I've read about and never been able to find anywhere. So this is really good. Good opportunity.
Interesting. So it sounds great. Let's go through what this is real quick. After being sent to rural Quebec to perform at a seedy motel, exotic dancer Gina establishes a friendship with a group of visiting documentary filmmakers and becomes aware of a lecherous Ski-Doo gang hiding out on an abandoned ship. I first of all, I'm already very confused by that and also excited. Keenly aware of one another's presence, Gina and the gang develop an antagonistic relationship that eventually leads to a horrific assault. But what these ski mask snow deviants don't realize is that Gina works for some of Montreal's most dangerous criminals, and they're on their way to enact an ugly revenge.
Yeah, this is a really interesting twist on the rape revenge genre.
Yeah.
And that's why I've wanted to. And of course, now I want to see the greatest snowmobile chase in movie history.
So let's go through that next paragraph then. 3 decades before winning the Best Foreign Language Film Oscar for The Barbarian Invasions, Denis Arcand started his fiction filmmaking crew with an informal trilogy of Dirty Money. I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation, so I apologize. Rajan Padavani and Gina is the third one that remains the high watermark for Canadian crime cinema. Improbably fusing labor politics with an explosive exploitation narrative, Gina has a conviction and assurance that resist easy categorization. Part frigid hangout movie, part vicious revenge saga. This is a one-of-a-kind powerhouse that builds to a gruesome climax and the greatest snowmobile chase in movie history. Like, how do you not immediately want to see that?
Yeah, I'm just picturing being like, I'm going to have to assault you there, eh?
Well, let's assault you even more because as of tonight, we have a disconnected exclusive straight from Canadian International Pictures. Jonathan Doyle himself emailed me today and said, we have an exclusive scoop for you to share during tonight's live stream. In the Gina description, we mentioned that it's part of an informal trilogy that remains the high watermark for Canadian crime cinema. You can reveal on the stream tonight that we're also releasing the other 2 films in this trilogy. We are getting all 3 of them. And tonight is the first time that is being revealed. Wow. So if you want all 3 of them, you might want to jump on and get Gina now before that slipcover goes, because it has already been selling pretty damn well. Canadian International Pictures has been absolutely killing it lately.
Yeah.
This one, it came with 2,000 slipcovers, and they've already sold more than 850 of them.
Well, I know what I'm doing after the stream.
Yeah, this is pretty damn cool that we are getting all 3 of these. I can't wait to see this, and they went all frickin' out on the features on this. This is scanned in 2K from the 35 millimeter print by Elephant. They have an audio commentary by Kayla Janice and writer film programmer Justine Smith. There's a video essay by Alexandra Heller Nicholas, new interview with the director, new audio interviews with cast members, trailers for stuff, a booklet featuring a new essay by Jim Leach. Like, my gosh, this sounds like an incredible release.
Yeah, fantastic.
Anthony says, what are the other 2, Tina and Melina? Come on, Anthony. So yeah, this is the front of the slip, and this is the back. I actually really like the art on this. I think it really goes with the vibe of the story that they're telling. And again, zooming in on this, I cannot wait to see this. To hear something described as the best, like, it looks amazing.
What a juxtaposition. I'm pretty sure there's a Jackie Chan snowmobile chase. I want to say it's in First Strike, maybe. So we'll see. We'll see.
I almost thought you were going to bring up True Lies, or what is there's a Pierce Brosnan Bond movie with really kind of boring. What?
So this may be above the Bond movie, but I don't know if it's going to be. I do think it's First Strike that Jackie Chan has a killer snowmobile chase scene, but I might have the wrong movie.
Again, thanks to Jonathan at Canadian International Pictures for the reveal. That is really great that we got to do it. This is such an interesting idea to put out this entire trilogy. I hope the other 2 are coming soon. It's going to be fantastic to see all 3 of these. I love when we get the same work from a director and we're able to track the progression like that. I can't wait to see these.
I got to say, all kidding aside, just to second second Ryan's sentiments. Canadian International Pictures, what a great label! They've been doing such great work, and I'm so happy that you've made a connection with them, because these films are so important to be seen, and it's great that we can help platform them.
Jonathan actually he usually watches on most Thursdays, so if he's here, by all means let yourself be known there, Jonathan. Thank you for that. Again, not just saying this because the exclusive or anything, but consistently one of the better releases every single month. I'm always happy to see what they got coming out.
And Celeste is right. All Bond movies are boring to me too.
Do you agree?
I cannot get into Bond movies. I've tried so many times. I kind of like Moonraker.
So I wasn't going to highlight it because I thought you would argue with me. I don't like James Bond.
Oh, okay. So we're all in agreement.
At all, yeah.
And it's okay to like James Bond. I just don't.
Nothing wrong with it.
I just don't. And also, I was right. It was First Strike, the Jackie Chan snowmobile. So we'll be able to compare. We'll be able to compare.
Nice. The hottest slipcover,
speaking of
this month, is from Enjoy the Ride Records, putting out Golden Era, a movie about the game that defined a generation. This is about the James Bond film or game, GoldenEye 007 from '97 for the Nintendo 64. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button, of course. Here is the back of this slip, and obviously the art on this is cool because it looks like a Nintendo 64 game. But yeah, I'm very, like, the slip sold out for this in just like 3 hours.
How many did they have?
1,000.
I didn't know that GoldenEye was a special video game. I'm of the generation that should know that. I'm barely aware that this was a game.
They had a couple games that were from the late 90s for James Bond stuff. I remember they had one where you could play as was his name Oddjob, the guy that took off his hat and tried to kill people with his hat? I don't remember.
Oddjob. Yeah.
Again, I never loved James Bond, but yeah, I remember one of those. I think that was it was the title with Knight in it. I don't remember it at the moment. Yeah, again, never loved James Bond. Oh, it's the same game, really? Wasn't there another one? I swear there was another one. No one was allowed to play as Oddjob, or okay, then he was a computer bot or something like that.
Okay. Wow, Wave played 2,000 hours of GoldenEye. Yeah, I never got a Nintendo 64. I had the 8-bit, and then
I didn't either.
And then I never got anything. I've only ever played 8-bit Nintendo. That's like the only video games I've ever played.
I went from that to PlayStation.
I've played PlayStation. I beat the first Resident Evil. That's it.
Yes, Big Disc. We've already talked about Breathless. All right, let's go to the next one. We are getting Guilty Pleasures from Saturn's Core. Now, I understand a lot of people aren't always hot on SOV stuff, but this one, for the first time in a few months, actually really excited me about Saturn's Core. This is the front of the slip, and here is the back. And this one, I really want to highlight this second paragraph here. In the tradition of Two Evil Eyes, Guilty Pleasures is a two-part SOV horror anthology conceived by New York-based filmmakers Joseph F. Parda and Joe Zasso. Five Dead on the Crimson Canvas and Evil Streets is what Joe has done previously. Guilty Pleasures offers an astounding exhibition of head-splitting gore, salacious sleaze, and nostalgic 90s-era NYC street locales. Guilty Pleasures also remains one of the few SOV productions to revel in the stylized black glove aesthetics of 70s Italian giallo cinema. And, I mean, that sounds much better than some of the other fare that I've seen from Shot on Video stuff. I don't always love it. Some of it I like, but this sounds a lot better.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Mm-hmm.
We got a commentary with actor and co-director Joe Zasso on this one. All-new retrospective featurette featuring interviews with Joe Zasso and actress Sasha Graham. And yeah, that's it. This is a strangely like light on features disc from Canadian International, or not Canadian International, sorry, Saturn's Core. They usually stack these with like bonus films and everything. So yeah, not a ton on this one, but some. And yeah, still a good looking release. Sibner says, ugh, in New York City. Now I gotta get it. Next up, this one has gotten some rave reviews from people that have seen this. How to Build a Time Machine is coming from Circle Collective. This is a 2015 documentary, I believe. How to Build a Time Machine follows two men as they set out on a journey to build their own time machines. Rob is a stop-motion animator who has spent the last 13 years obsessively constructing a full-scale replica of the Time Machine prop from the 1960 adaptation of H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. And this movie looks really good. Have you?
Yeah, really.
You've not seen this one?
I've ordered this already. I feel like I'm going to be heartbroken.
Chris Silvestri wants to build a time machine. You've ordered this and you think you're going to be heartbroken?
Yeah.
Why are you going to be heartbroken?
I'm just reading the description.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think it's going to be a sad one then.
Well, the filmmakers, I'm sure, will have a narrative with ups and downs, but there's the whole concept of time travel kind of to me carries a bit of sadness in it. The temporality of our existence. We're alive for this tiny bit of time, and then we're dead forever.
Right.
And you look at the description here and why these people want to build a time machine. Holy shit,
Yeah. It's very very personal film, and from what I've heard, it delivers in spades. This is supposed to be fantastic. Circle Collective, another one of those that when they put out good ones, they're pretty great. So I'm very curious to see this one.
I'd keep going back in time to when I was 27. I was virile and robust.
Why specifically 27?
I feel like I was at my peak.
At 27?
Well, not mentally, but
that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. If only. If only.
All right. This is the first release now coming from XYZ Films as a partner label from OCN. They are putting out Hypochondriac from 2022. This is the front and the back of the slip. And since this is their first one, I figured I'd put the blurb in here about what they are as a label. And they say XYZ Films is an independent studio whose mission is to empower visionary storytellers from every corner of the planet. As a producer, financier, and distributor, the company is uniquely suited to identify talented filmmakers and bring their stories to life. Vinegar Syndrome's sister company, OCN Distribution, is thrilled to be repressing XYZ Films' brand new line of home video releases.
I ordered this one. It looks cool.
All of the comments are attacking you. I just realized that.
Really?
So this one, the actual film itself, says, Will is a young Hispanic artist with a loving boyfriend and a good life, but when his mentally ill mother reemerges after a 10-year absence, it erodes the foundation of the world he has created and exposes a dark past of violence he was desperate to keep hidden. Afraid of becoming like his mom, Will spirals into obsession, despair, and madness, tormented by a manifestation of his childhood trauma. Man, we are all about the super happy films over the last couple. Sibner says, okay, 9 people just bought Gina. Yeah, so this one sounds and looks really good. I'm very curious to see how this one comes out. And it seems like a lot of people try to buy the first release from a partner label, and those always sell pretty well. I'm curious to see what people think on this one. John DeMarsco says it was pretty good modern body horror. Watched it on an airplane. That was awkward.
Fantastic.
Utopia is putting out Meet Me in the Bathroom from 2021. This is an immersive archival journey through the explosive New York music scene of the early 2000s, talking about bands like The Strokes, LCD Sound System, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and Interpol. I am an absolute sucker for music documentaries, so this is kind of a must.
Yeah, I ordered this one too. Even though I don't really like those bands.
I'm
setting myself up for more comments.
more despair for you. I like some of the songs from some of the, like the Strokes are pretty good. Interpol's
like
okay. Yeah.
I'll listen to the Yes.
Yeah.
I've got Carano's solo album. It's
nice.
Pretty good. Yeah.
The second release from Umbrella as a partner label got announced, and this one is a must if you have not seen it. This is Nightmares. This is the front of the slip, and this is the back. And this movie, have you seen Nightmares before, Will?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yes.
So Nightmares is actually an amazing movie. I really like this one. It's very entertaining. It says, screams of terror silenced only by the splintering of glass in this textbook example of 80s slash trash. An aspiring actress, haunted by the childhood memory of her mother being thrown through a car window, finds herself trapped at the center of a brutal killing spree as one by one her fellow thespians are butchered by a psychopath with a sliver of glass. Adding nonstop bloodshed to a successful cinematic recipe of softcore sex and ample naked flesh, Ozploitation auteur John D. Lamond, who also did Felicity, takes on the stock and slash genre with a vengeance in this infamous homegrown Halloween clone. Proudly high on body count, including a notoriously graphic full frontal thrill kill scene, which is really well done. And thankfully low on subtext, Nightmares offers the rare opportunity to see a host of famous Aussie faces like Gary Sweet, I don't know how to say this name, I'm going to say Brinny Behetz, John Michael Housen, I believe is how he says it, or Housen, and some others dispatched in the most gruesome ways imaginable.
Yeah. I had to cycle through all the films called Nightmare or Nightmares before I remembered this one. And yeah, I'm definitely going to check this out.
Stan Geezy says, full frontal? I'm in. And then DC says, ample goes right up there with dollop. You listening, Will?
We'll put it on the list.
Joe Jack wants to point out Umbrella slips have the title upside down on the spine. The first one did. Have we confirmed that this one does as well? It's a really odd choice. And somebody asked Justin LaLiberty about it on Twitter, and he said, we just print what they give to us, and that's the way they wanted it. So, yeah. It's an odd choice. If you do have the original Umbrella release from Australia for this one, there's nothing new on here. And supposedly this whole first year at least, they're not going to be putting out any brand new titles, just the ones that they've already been putting out in Australia. And it's only going to be the Australian titles. It's not going to be like Martyrs or anything like that. It's going to be the Ozploitation titles, the classic Australian films that they've put out.
Cool.
And they're probably not going to have any new features.
I'm happy to get them.
Good.
I'm happy to get an ample dollop of Ozploitation.
Ample dollop of Aussie full frontal.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good pull quote as we start tonight celebrating Women's Appreciation Month. Oh, thanks, Will. One that has made a lot of people excited, AGFA is putting out a martial arts double feature of Shaolin Invincibles and 7 to 1. The synopsis for Shaolin Invincibles immediately made me go, okay, I have to see this.
Yeah.
It's the first 3 words: wizards, gorillas, blood splurts.
Splurts, not spurts.
Blood splurts.
Yeah.
You've never seen a Taiwanese martial arts movie like this one. 2 sword-wielding sisters seek revenge against the villains who murdered their family. But these are no ordinary villains. They're wizards with giant elasticized tongues who use black magic to control kung fu gorillas. Starring the magnificent Judy Lee and the fierce Carter Wong, this supreme basher combines the electricity of a Super Nintendo game with exceptional fight choreography to deliver an otherworldly experience.
Love it.
Yes. They're also putting on here a martial arts trailer reel from the AGFA Vaults that's almost a half hour long. and I am a sucker for a good trailer compilation. And yeah, this is Celeste. I'm also known for my splurts. Not sure about that one. And that will now be immortalized in podcast form. Thank you, Celeste. Let's see. Paul Huggins says, I was all over Shaolin Invincibles. Celebrating March with full frontal dollops. Oh, yeah. Celeste says, too much good shit this month. Don't they know I have no money? Quite rude.
Frankly, yeah, I'm feeling that. We're going to get quite the archive of taboo words.
I can't wait till somebody emails me like a compilation of you saying just the most salacious words pieced together over 7 months of constant shows on this stream. Are these high diddle diddle splurts?
Shy haloob.
All right. Factory 25 is also putting out The Upsetter, yet another music documentary that I have to see. The life and music of Lee Scratch Perry. And I am a unironic lover of ska music. I was a desperate marching band kid in high school, so I love all things ska, which in turn means I kind of have to love reggae as well. And based on that, I have to see this. I don't know how I have not. This is from 2008, and they are putting this out with 2022 director's commentary by Ethan Higbee and Adam Balalu. And then there's a booklet that includes an essay by Brandon Harris, Jay Berger, Matt Deal, Adam, and then the original documentary pitch letter that was given to Lee Scratch Perry himself.
The king of dub. I'm all over this one too.
Celeste says, based on that, you have to pick it up.
Yeah,
that was a very good joke.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Very good joke. That gets at least 3 stars for me. All right, we are finally done with OCN, but we are not done yet because Diabolic is hosting an Arrow video sale that is going until March 15th, and it is surprisingly good. Like, a lot of the prices over there are decent. You were surfing. Did you pick anything up?
I did.
Why does that sound so regretful?
Well, actually, I mean, when you consider the fact that my initial cart was at like $380, and then I got it down to about $80. So, yeah, I got some good titles. I actually have pretty close to the complete U.S. release of Arrow's catalog.
God dang.
So this was just filling in some holes that.
Now that's going in the compilation. Like, why'd you have to say it like that?
I didn't mean to, but then I caught it. Go ahead, Celeste. Do what you want with it.
Now that is too. Come on.
Well, anyway, yeah. So I was really excited. The Hell High, which has the Joe Bob Briggs commentary, and got a couple things. Yeah.
So how many are you missing? Because that is fascinating. That's a lot.
That are still in print. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some stuff that I didn't know about, but I'm probably missing 30-ish titles.
Wow.
You know, I don't have Robin Hood yet. Your face, don't be so disappointed.
I mean, on the bright side, you did say Arrow US, and I believe that was only an Arrow UK release.
Oh, was it? Okay. I don't have Waterworld yet.
That one is sad.
Yeah. Do they have all the booklets?
Now, you've seen Waterworld, right?
I have.
So, is it just me, or is it overhated?
I mean, yeah, it was all right. You know, I don't understand why everybody talks about it at the time. I think it was, forgive the terminology, it was a tank job on Kevin Costner. They were tired of Kevin Costner and they went after him. And yeah, you know, it does have the kind of watching him drink his piss and everything.
In the opening too.
Yeah, but you know, I think it was like Kevin Costner had kind of saturated the celebrity sphere, and people were trying to take him down. The Postman wasn't that bad either, but you know, people acted like it was a friggin' Ed Wood movie. Uh, well, I like Ed Wood movies. I actually like Ed Wood movies better than The Postman, but still, The Postman wasn't that bad either. And Waterworld's fine. I'll probably see it again at some point.
Anyways, I'm just, it's overhated. It's not the abomination that people treat it as. I mean, there's still, like, obviously this isn't the bar to hold movies to or anything, but there's still a stunt show at Universal Studios Hollywood to highlight Waterworld because it was so iconic in that time.
Yeah, and I'm certainly sympathetic to people who think it sucked. A couple people in the nerd of the '80s did not like it.
Nerd of the '80s hates a lot of films, though.
That's okay. I hate a lot of films too.
Like, I was not going to mention this, but now since we're talking about Nerd, I will say, Cam said earlier when I was talking about The Lure that he put it in his watch list. Cam is going to hate The Lure. It is a wonderful movie, but Cam is going to hate it.
Oh, Dead Sea Life is right. Ed Wood is shockingly missing from high definition. We've got Orgy of the Dead from Vinegar Syndrome. I think that's it. No, The Violent Years is also out on.
Oh, touche.
That's also Vinegar Syndrome, I think. It might be out of print though. I think it's out of print. But we haven't got the primary Ed Wood films. I still have my old box set of DVDs.
Violent Years was AGFA, by the way.
Oh, it was AGFA? Okay.
And I believe that's one that will be included because they said that they were re-releasing everything that had been released before they were a partner label. They will be coming out with releases of those, and I believe that one should be included.
Good. I want to get it.
Sibner, we will be talking about this. I was not ignoring you. We'll be coming back in just a minute. Actually, that's a good question. I've not seen Ishtar. Have you seen Ishtar?
Oh, you know what? That's one I've always wanted to check out because that ended Elaine May's career pretty much, didn't it? And I've read recent reappraisals of the film, but I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either. I've actually been really interested in it. And when I think it was Indicator that announced it, and then it got canceled, that made me sad.
Yeah, if Stan recommends it, then I'm even more interested.
What's going on, Steve? Justin says, I think AGFA released Take It Out and Trade as well. Was that on Blu-ray, though? Take It Out.
I feel like it might have been, yeah.
It was on Blu-ray, that's right.
So we've got all of the obscure Ed Wood movies.
We got all the obscure releases from an already fairly obscure filmmaker.
Right. But anyway, back to Diabolic. The timing was tough for me, but I'm so happy about it. I hope people check it out. The sale.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sale really quick, and we are going to get deep into Arrow here for just a second. Something kind of weird is going on. So Arrow had, when was it? I think it was the very beginning of February. They had their Arrow site sale. Or maybe it was Grindhouse that was first. Grindhouse Video also had an Arrow sale. Then immediately, Diabolic announces this third Arrow sale. And now come to find out, Hamilton Book is starting an Arrow sale on Monday. They had already been scheduling it with Arrow themselves, and then Diabolic announced this, and Hamilton didn't know about it. So there is yet another Arrow sale coming starting next Monday night. They did say on the Blu-ray.com forums today, because they have somebody named Golden Wheels, that's the pseudonym he uses there. He comes there to answer questions all the times, and he said they are going to be at least matching, if not beating, all of the Diabolic sales prices. So I'm not trying to take sales away from Diabolic, but they are going to be having a lot more Arrow titles on sale next week starting on Monday. Don't cancel any orders from Diabolic or anything like that. Just throwing it out there. If you get paid this weekend or something and you were waiting, you might want to wait till Monday, because like the Diabolic stuff, they're going to get restocked. Most of it is, in fact, probably none of it will go out of print during this sale. It's all going to get restocked anyway. So on Monday, you can just compare the prices and buy what's better for you.
Yeah. I think that's cool. I'll see if there are some different titles that maybe aren't on sale from Diabolic. That's definitely something I'll check out as well. I don't know Hamilton books as well as I know Diabolic.
And I get that. And if anybody has not ordered from Hamilton Book before, I'll throw out there. I did put out a video on Hamilton Book like a year and a couple months ago, and it answers most of the questions. Although Hamilton Book, right after I put out that video, and it's not because of me or anything, they got really popular because in COVID stuff, everybody started buying more physical media, and people started counting on the drops at Hamilton Book, and people started buying them out of their stock almost immediately. So they don't have quite the sales that they used to. Hamilton Book used to have like outrageous deals. Like behind me, I've got most of the Draft House films here, and for a while, you could get Draft House films that were out of print for a little while on sale on a Monday night every month for like $7.95. That's not exaggerating. It was actually $8.
Wow.
And Hamilton Book, every 4 weeks on Monday night, they update their stock and they upload new titles in. This coming Monday is one of those nights, and you are going to be able to get new stuff that's not listed there, and it will be perfect. So, yeah, you'll be able to compare prices and buy what feels better for you. So if you get paid, just hang out for a couple days and check it out then. You can trust Hamilton Book. They do good stuff. And it's all new. A lot of people have questioned that because the prices are so low. They thought it might have been like used stock. They are all brand new. Hamilton Book is amazing.
Yeah, they are reliable. I've ordered a couple times from them.
Wave is saying, when is the Arrow sale at Barnes & Noble? Should be July. Usually it's like the third week of June till the third week of July-ish. Hamilton Book is around 7 p.m. Yes. Somewhere between like 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's sad it's not the exact same time every time. Anyways, that's enough about Arrow. Another sale, though. Ronin Flix is currently hosting a sale called a Movie Madness sale. You can get an extra 35% off the current low sales price if you buy at least $50 worth of any of the 100-plus titles in their Movie Madness collection. There's a lot of good stuff there, a lot of stuff that you can find some real good gems in the Scorpion releasing catalog that they have there. Some of the releases like Haunt that Ronin Flix has put out themselves.
Yeah.
The original I Spit on Your Grave, obviously, they've got a killer release of that.
4K.
And, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good titles in there. Actually, the other Chuck Norris movie that I kind of like is up for sale, The Delta Force with Lee Marvin. That's the one where at the end, Chuck Norris is on his motorcycle and he shoots a rocket out of it, but he shoots it backwards and he flashes his little butt at the. It's the funny.
Real compilation from tonight alone is going to be on a blackmail tape in like 14 years.
No, I'm serious, y'all. Watch the Delta Force just for that scene. It's the funniest little thing. He's like.
Our audience is being told by somebody with a doctorate in film to watch a Chuck Norris film for his, quote, little butt.
His little butt shake.
I love this. I love you guys. Let's talk about Anime Wong, because I know that you were excited about this one. May 2nd, Kino is putting out the Anime Wong collection with brand new HD masters from 2K and 4K scans of Dangerous to Know, King of Chinatown, and Island of Lost Men. I will throw out Dangerous to Know is a new commentary by Sam Deegan, which is really awesome. New audio commentary for Island of Lost Men by Brian Reisman, and then King of Chinatown has one by David Del Valle. Hit us with your Anime Wong knowledge.
Oh my God. I mean, one of, if not the first Asian actress to be prominently featured in Hollywood movies. Now, people probably know her best from Shanghai Express, the von Sternberg film with Marlene Dietrich. But she, and I have not seen these movies that Kino's putting out. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that there are going to be some horrible racial stereotypes on display. But her performances, even in smaller roles and in roles that were had some stereotypical elements, she brought a presence to her performances that was just amazing. And she also kind of improbably had a long-term affair with Todd Browning, the director of Dracula and Freaks.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, and she's just a fascinating story. I really look forward to these commentary tracks as much as the movies, because I want to learn more about her background. I'm trying to talk about Anime Wong.
For anybody listening in audio format later, D-Center says, so Dr. Dodson, what does your lesson plan involve? Will says, ample dollops of Chuck Norris ass.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
I love that.
Listen, I want everyone on this stream to go and see that scene in the Delta Force. It's right at the end. You don't have to watch the whole movie. And you tell me what happens. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh man, I hope people actually report back on that.
I want to know. Feel free, tweet at me.
Okay, we only got a couple announcements left. Thank goodness. And I just ruined everything. We got from 101 Films in the UK today. They announced a Bob Clark horror collection, and we are getting Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Death Dream, and Black Christmas, all in a box set from 101 Films as part of the Black Label. Now, obviously, two of these have 4K releases in the US already. These will not be 4K in the UK. One of the two is not nearly as well regarded as the other one. But these are all coming out in the UK as a really good set, and the art on these actually looks really nice. I really like the way they did this. You and I haven't talked about Bob Clark very much, other than Black Christmas is a classic, obviously. Well, what do you think about some of the others? Like, I feel like Death Dream is really underseen.
I'm more of a Baby Geniuses guy when it comes to Bob Clark, but
I get that.
No, Death Dream is my favorite Bob Clark film, and it currently has a Blu-ray release from Blue Underground, and for me, it's worth the double dip on the other two films. Well, it's not really a double dip since it's a downgrade from the 4K releases that we have. I have not seen the 4K of Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. I'm really curious as to what that's going to look like. But Death Dream, one of the great adaptations of the Monkey's Paw, set centered around a Vietnam veteran. Just a great social commentary. It's very spooky. It's a very slow build, not an action-packed movie at all. Bob Clark, man, he could do just about anything.
Almost.
I mean, I think Porky's is a reprehensible piece of trash. But he made it, and it was, Porky is what became the franchise that it became. I'm less enamored of A Christmas Story than I used to be, but it's still, it's got these moments that are just great. But Death Dream, man, what a film.
I'm glad you agree. Death Dream is certainly underseen, and Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things is one that people need to see if you haven't at least once. It's certainly worth it. It's not nearly as good as the other two in the set, I would say, but it's still worth a watch. And again, Black Christmas, it can only be praised so much, but it's literally one of the best of all time. Let's see. The last thing that we can talk about here is an important one. Deaf Crocodile launched a Kickstarter campaign for a film called The Pied Piper from 1986. The art that you see here is going to be used as a Kickstarter exclusive slipcover if you back their Kickstarter. This is still going to be coming out through OCN and the Vinegar Syndrome with a different slipcover. So you're still going to be able to get it later. They did say no matter what happens with the campaign, they are still putting this out. It is just a matter of making some of that money back. And I will throw out what I said in the Discord today. The two guys from Deaf Crocodile are just amazing people for this industry. First of all, Dennis and Roger are people that just do this for the passion of it. The 4K restorations they do, it will cost them somewhere between $50,000 and $75,000 to do every 4K restoration that they're doing. So to get those done, it takes a lot, and they just want the ability to survive, basically. And it is a really hard thing to do, obviously, when you're not just rolling in free money to do 4K restorations just out of the charity of your heart. So if you are willing, this is one that you can actually feel good about backing. This is one that you know that you're going to get your stuff. The film here looks really interesting. I've never seen the Pied Piper. Have you?
No, I'm just pulling up the Kickstarter campaign here.
So it is a stop motion animation film, I believe.
Yeah.
And it looks really interesting. I looked up some pieces from this, and I'm very curious to see how this looks. The restoration work on this is probably going to be amazing. I am super happy with all of the Deaf Crocodile attention that they pay to animated films, now stop motion animated films, and the influential foreign films that they've put out. It is just an amazing catalog that they've already built.
Well, these premiums are priced very reasonably.
Yes.
I'm looking at the campaign right now, and they're getting close to the goal. So if anybody out there is interested, you can do it without breaking the bank.
Oh, absolutely. All right, that is it for announcements.
Stan mentioned Murder by Decree for the Bob Clark conversation. That was a poor omission on our part. That's a pretty good movie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I agree.
It's not at the level of Death Dreamer.
Right. It's still very good.
Yeah.
Bob Clark was just talented. Very quickly, going through what is coming out next week, we are getting 4K steelbooks for Air Force One and The Mask of Zorro, which is odd because these had been released previously. Mildred Pierce is coming in 4K from Criterion. The Rocky 4K steelbooks are releasing The House That Screamed from Arrow. Wesley Snipes and Robert De Niro in The Fan from Mill Creek. Secret Admirer coming from Kino. Camille coming from Warner Archive. The Crusades from Kino. Christmas Bloody Christmas from RLJE. We're getting a standard Blu-ray of The Running Man. Fear from Mill Creek as well. I'll Cry Tomorrow from Warner Archive. Women Talking is getting a Blu-ray release. That is one
yeah,
that you can celebrate Women's Appreciation Month with.
Well, it's a great film.
Yeah, I've been very keen to see it. Little Miss Marker with Shirley Temple coming out from Kino. Problem Child getting its 9th Blu-ray release from Mill Creek. Asphalt from Kino Lorber. Filler Up with Super coming from Radiance. Making Mr. Right from Kino. Cohen Media's Let It Be Morning is dropping next week. The House That Screamed, the site exclusive slipcover, is also going to be released next week as well. And then Grease is getting its Blu-ray release again.
Can someone explain to me why Grease is beloved, A, and B, at least when I was a kid, seemed to be screened at every kids slumber party and church lock-in.
It is a very weird movie for that.
What the hell? The movie is misogynistic as hell, and and
I'll throw out there, I think Grease 2 is far superior, and it is a much fun, more fun film. At least it's very campy.
I just don't
very campy. Well, I love Christopher Silvestri saying, "Put this man to bed." We still have a whole discussion about Scream Queens. Are you good for that?
Why is everyone so is there something wrong? Am I haggard?
You're certainly not talking as much as normal.
Really? I thought I was talking more than usual.
Not at all. Joe
Really?
Jack says, my boomer parents love Grease and they hate musicals. Interesting.
Last time I was drinking, so maybe I'm not talking as much as last time.
A drink sounds decent. I don't drink that much, but
Yeah.
could go good tonight.
I'm on. This is water.
I'm on watermelon flavored Walmart water. All right. So we are discussing tonight some of our favorite Scream Queen performances. We didn't even really like define this between us in any way.
Yeah.
I kind of just looked at it as like iconic female performances in horror and cult. Is that how you looked at it, or was there a specific Scream Queen thing for you that you did?
Well, I had trouble figuring out how to get into it, because like I don't think the audience needs to hear us talk about Jamie Lee Curtis. Like some of her performances are really exciting for me, but for me, like I don't know if she's on your list, but for me,
She's on my list 4 times out of 9. I'm just kidding.
But I don't have anything new to say about those performances. And I was like, okay, well, what's like my favorite Scream Queen performance of all time? And I was like, well, Elsa Lanchester in Bride of Frankenstein, because this was a character totally made up for that movie, and nobody had ever done anything like that before. And that's the characterization she came up with. That's awesome. And then I was like, well, I can't do the entirety of cinema history. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just do slasher movies. But I was going to fall into some conventional choices. So I decided to do it unconventionally and name my favorite performances post 1996.
That's a very specific time frame.
That's the release of Scream. And Neve Campbell playing Sidney Prescott and really twisting and turning the final girl archetype, the Scream Queen archetype, and so that's what I've done.
Interesting.
And I think this way I can some of the choices might be more controversial, or even better, some of the choices might be stuff that people haven't seen or haven't seen in a long time. Celeste, I was talking with a student tonight about this show happening, and they were like, "Oh, you should talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and make him a Scream Queen." Which I thought was legit, but no, he's not on my list.
So earlier, I believe you said you had 7. Is that correct? Okay, so I have 10. So I'm going to list my 3 honorable mentions, and then we're going to do favorite 7 instead of favorite 5. So my number 10, I didn't really have her as a favorite. I just wanted to throw out there that it's pretty obvious that right now the modern stepping forward of a Scream Queen, some people might go with Mia Goth, but I think it's kind of obvious that right now it's Jenna Ortega with the combination of Wednesday, with X, with the fact that she was in Studio 666, and a lot of people don't remember that one for a little while. With everything that she's doing, she is like the current Scream Queen and is about to kill it in Scream, it looks like. And obviously she was in the last Scream as well. So I'm very, very happy for everything that she's seeing right now, and she's doing great in everything that she does. I don't know if either of the next 2 are going to be on your list, so I apologize if they are. My other honorable mention is a name that I don't think I've ever heard anybody say out loud because they don't really pay attention to the actors in this film. That is Shauna McDonald from The Descent.
Yes.
She is astonishingly human in that film. I adore her performance. I think that she is remarkable, and that movie is, I still say, easily one of the most actually creepy films for me since the year 2000. Without The Descent, I feel like I would be empty inside, like a hollow cave.
Well, bring Natalie Mendoza into there as well.
Hell yeah, she was great in that.
Yeah, love that movie.
My other honorable mention, I think it's the obvious one to say right now, and I kind of already mentioned her name, but Mia Goth's performance in Pearl is mind-blowing. It is that good. It is something that you see and marvel at, but I don't really see that performance as Scream Queen yet. I just see it as kind of deranged. I do like that she was in X and Pearl and is going to be in Maxine. And obviously, what she's doing with Cronenberg and some other stuff, it's very, very interesting. And I think that she's doing very well. But now, let's go to our top 7, and you can start with your number 7.
I realized I made a mistake. I just did that whole hype about 1996, and I'm gonna go in chronological order, and I totally thought the first one was 1996 and it's 1995.
Love it.
But it's too late. It's live. It's live. So my first one from 1995, also kind of playing with the conventions of final girldom, Jada Pinkett. Still Jada Pinkett at this time. Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight. I think she's fantastic in this movie. I think this movie's fantastic. And yeah, what it does, I mean, and the dynamic between her and Billy Zane. Oh,
it's a great one.
Yeah, so that's my number 7. My pre-1996 pick.
I love it. I've got some unconventional ones on mine as well. I think some that people would not really think of during these. And I think that I was just kind of drawn for some over-the-top acting when I was looking on this today. And my number 7 is a film that we talked about a good hour and a half ago. And I'm going to go with Alison Paradis from Inside. Yeah. She is remarkable in that movie. Her acting is fantastic. The story itself, tragic. Everything that she's going through is this desperate sadness that draws you in on an emotional level that isn't felt in a lot of movies. There's the gut punch that is similar to that in The Strangers when her mom shows up. There's so much in this movie that is like frenetic desperation in a way that you don't see in a lot of situations that feels realistic, and that alone just takes it to a completely new level for me.
Yeah, great. Well, my next one, which I already telegraphed, is Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott in the Scream franchise. Now no longer in the Scream franchise. Ironically, Neve Campbell, who did so much to bring the archetype into a new age of strength and agency, isn't going to be is not in the new Scream because they wouldn't pay her, and that's awful. It's a real shame, but in 1996, when Scream came out, it was such a breath of fresh air to have this character who broke all of the rules, was not portrayed in an exploitive way, and I think Neve Campbell was a revelation because I had only known her from Party of Five, which was not a show that I watched. I just knew that she was on it, and she brought such strength to the character. And I didn't know this, but she's a trained dancer, which I think made an impact on the action sequences. And through 5 movies, her character developed in a really authentic way, and I it made me a fan of her. I checked out some of her other movies as a result of this. So Neve Campbell for sure in Scream.
I'm going to change up my list a little bit then, and I'm going to bring up my number 4 before I break into the rest of them. And I'm going to highlight one that works for this in a way that is perhaps a little controversial after that wonderful diatribe about Neve Campbell.
Okay.
Drew Barrymore in Scream. I think might be the iconic takeaway for me in that first Scream film, because her like frigid level of just going from like being tantalized by the caller and actually playing him and enjoying this like flirty dynamic of what's your favorite scary movie
Mm.
to the just hellacious crawl towards her parents and not having the ability to speak is so just heartbreaking in that moment. And the fact that you see that in 1996 Drew Barrymore is headlining Scream
Yeah,
and they kill her off
in the
in
first.
like 8 minutes into the movie or whatever, it is such an out of nowhere take that it is amazing. And then to go back to something that you just did, honestly, Jada Pinkett Smith was incredible in the first part of Scream 2 as well.
Mhm.
The way that they started that one, it wasn't quite as mind blowing because we had seen it with Drew Barrymore, but it is such an out of nowhere take in 1996 that I had to put it on here. She's also telegraphing a lot of the classic Scream Queen feelings because she's got this very innocent look at the beginning, like turtleneck sweater, making popcorn, just sitting down for a nice night, and just absolutely gets annihilated. It is such an emotional. I was going to say gut punch, and then I thought about how she died, and I thought maybe I shouldn't. It is such an awful beginning. Anyways, I'll say that is my number 6.
Okay, cool. Well, for my next one, staying in 1996, but I'm going to Spain. And this is an actress who's not really known as a Scream Queen generally. Anna Torrent in Thesis. I mean, she was in Spirit of the Beehive, stuff like that. This movie, quite good. And her her characterization and the way she like conveys fear is just visceral. This is the debut of Alejandro Amenabar. Amenabar.
It's a lot of syllables.
Yeah, and it's just great. If people haven't seen it, Thesis or Thesis, check it out. She's fantastic in it.
Where is that Blu-ray from? I've never seen this.
Okay, I have a terrible confession to make. I now need bifocals, but I do not have any. And
it looks like it is a 2014 release from Tanalorn Films, and it is not currently available on Amazon, so it's probably out of print.
Oh, well, come visit me if you would like to see this movie.
Everybody's buying tickets to North Carolina.
Oh, thanks for the save. Yeah, I could not see.
I get it. By the way, I did not put mine in date order. So I guess I'm going to change mine around a little bit because some of ours might overlap a little bit, even though I know that a couple of them will not. I'm going to jump to an original and say that I had to give a shout out a la Drew Barrymore kind of to Janet Leigh from Psycho. Like the fact that she's not in most of the movie and she is the most iconic part of that first film. And obviously it's a groundbreaking film in the way that it was shot. The entire nature of the shower scene, it changes so many different ways about filmmaking that we had kind of seen in a couple other similar films in that decade, but it changed it in such a unique way because of the number of takes, obviously the number of shots, and it is the scream is so iconic. It had to be brought up for this, and it's not post 96, but it is post so many films that came before it in such a unique way and changed it for the better. She's not even a final girl. She was just the original Scream Queen, basically. And it's done in such a like an awful way. You start to care for this woman at the beginning of the film, even though she's not even a great character. And you're like invested. Oh, it's Janet Leigh. Let's see what we're going to. Oh, God, she's dead. Like that quickly. it is such an interesting way to attack that in that time with Hitchcock. I love the way that Psycho is filmed.
Yeah, she was the ultimate MacGuffin, you know, and yeah, definitely belongs in every person's consciousness of Scream Queens. All right.
Cam says, I believe it was said that she wouldn't take showers because that scene traumatized her.
Wow. Hey, okay. Celeste is coming over. Okay, so my next one, I'm staying in Spain, actually.
Oh, nice.
And this is a person also not in a whole lot of horror films. Manuela Velasco as Angela in the first Wreck movie.
Yeah.
Real time. I watched this again recently for the first time in several years. I'd forgotten how loud the movie is and how intense it is. And man, she's got to hold together so much in this in this film, and and all to reach a tragic end. I think she holds the film together. Found footage films are so difficult to maintain realistic drama, and in this case it's like relatively unedited, or seemingly relatively unedited footage. Yeah, so she's just great in it. Great scream.
And on top of the fan footage aspect, it's a mostly one location film. Obviously the building's large, but it's one apartment building, and this one is just such a harrowing film, and you get all the different stories that are going on at the same time. It's this one hurts to watch. There are so many scenes in this that are just, no, God, something could have been done better than that. And it hurts. I love that movie so damn much. And honestly, some of the sequels to that are not bad.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about the last one.
Yeah. But they're not talked about enough.
Yeah. Well, Scream Factory made a very nice box set.
They did. Sibner wants to know, would you consider Sigourney Weaver a Scream Queen?
She doesn't scream that much, but I mean, I think the Aliens franchise, I think she can be looked at as a kind of Scream Queen. I mean, we're really having an expansive definition of it. I mean, I think Scream Queens are generally focused on slashers, but when Ryan and I talked, this was like some of our favorite performances in individual films. If you're using that more restrictive definition of a Scream Queen, then no, Sigourney Weaver probably wouldn't be. But I think the way we're thinking of Scream Queens, which means significant characters in horror, sure, yeah. Well,
I've got an odd response for that. I think if the franchise stopped at Alien, I would say yes. But the fact that it kept going, I would say no. Because the first Alien is just a slasher flick. And if that would have been it and we called it a day, I would have said absolutely yes. But because we have she's in what, 2 more or 3 more? 3 more Alien flicks? Yeah, I think the fact that they turn into action epics kind of take away from that aspect a little bit.
Hey, can I say something? I liked Alien Resurrection, the Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
I need to see it again. It's been a very long time for me.
And I like it the best.
Like it the best?
Yeah, I like it better than the first 2 and the third one.
Okay. So listen, Will's gone. Now that it's just us, what is? No, come on, no. The best.
The swimming sequence is beautiful.
Okay.
The cast.
responses already. Oh, I love this.
Joss Whedon.
That's not helping your argument.
No, I know. That's easily the
That's
worst
just
part.
another monster.
This is the worst part. Yeah, he's the worst part of the movie.
All right. I'm going to get my other super classic line out of the way as I go into my next count. And this was my second way to cheat. I have a line where I just really wanted to shine a light on Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And Shelley Duvall in The Shining, kind of together, because they both had really awful experiences making these two films, and they both are like, obviously The Shining, Shelley and Jack are kind of the two big tops there, but their performances in this really sell the movies, because without Shelley responding to everything that Jack Nicholson does, The Shining loses a lot of that power. But they both went through so damn much making these films that they deserve at least a little bit of recognition. The fact, though, that I am saying this in 2023 when we're getting a brand new Exorcist movie soon with Ellen Burstyn in it again or whatever, like I don't know. I'm hoping that it's decent, but at this point, Linda Blair and Shelley Duvall, they need attention for these two films, at least in this sort of exhaustive list. And it's not meant to be everybody, but they both deserve it. Shelley is amazing in this movie.
Yeah. Good choices.
Yeah, but I mean, they're kind of lame. And that's why I wanted to get rid of it here, because the rest of my choices are very specific.
Well, I've caused a firestorm of controversy with my Alien Resurrection.
Well, let's resurrect this show and have a good pick now.
All right,
what do you got?
Move me along. All right, this one, I don't know. This one might cause controversy on its own. But I'm going to 2015 now. Micah Monroe in
choice.
It Follows. Now, It Follows. Everybody says, "Oh, this is a metaphor for STIs and so on," and sure, that's there. But to me, that film is about the moment when kids learn what death is and how it's always coming and it's gonna catch you. And when I watched it, and I've seen it now several times, I was so impressed with her performance. There's a couple sequences in the film that I wish weren't there, that make it clear that the entity is objectively real and not just in people's minds. But overall, I think it's a really great film, and her performance again centers it. The pathos of it is just wonderful. The final scene of that film, oof, one of the best in recent memory.
It Follows is great. There's so many scenes in this that are harrowing, and obviously a lot of people, they go to the tall man coming into the room of the apartment or whatever. But the entire, what is it, like a shed or a cabin or whatever it is on the beach, the way that everything is this weird cat and mouse chase is such an interesting take on a film. And in 2015, in a year that we saw some of the most original horror films released in decades, I think 2015 was like the year of original horror for me over the last 10-20 years. And this one is so just well made, and it sticks with you for longer than you think. I love It Follows.
Yeah.
All right. My next one is one that I'm going to jump to, that you obviously just skipped over, that now I know that won't be a one that we both have. I'll say it now. Jane Levy in the Evil Dead remake is a revelation. In an intimidating franchise that had one of the most iconic characters of all time, that still has massive sellouts at conventions because of Bruce Campbell's chin. She picks up the mantle and runs with it in a completely different way, and is terrifying. That movie is so well made. I mean, it literally rains blood, something that we didn't see again until Nope, at least in such a perfect way. Uh, Jane Levy is so like meticulous in the way that she acts this film. I think there's one of the scenes that they filmed inside the house. She had to stand in one location for like 8 or 9 hours straight and keep moving in one specific way. And the fact that she was able to be that laborious while giving this performance is just incredible. And again, the fact that it's such a male focused storyline up until this point, and they take the main character that had the name of Ashley as a male, and they give us a female kind of antagonist protagonist, little awkward thing. She kind of plays both parts there. It is such a beautiful take on this franchise because she delivers something that we did not expect. She delivers something completely different than Bruce Campbell's performance. She is the scary part of the film rather than the Deadites. It is a gorgeous movie. I love the Evil Dead remake. And I'll still proudly say I think it's the best of the franchise. Hands down. Easily hands down.
You make a compelling case. I now need to go rewatch. I did not dislike the Evil Dead remake, but I certainly didn't think of it on that level. I'll have to watch that again.
Love that movie.
Oh. All right, here's my next one. I'm going in a very different direction. Back to 2007. Jess Wexler in Teeth. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Teeth, and how is it not on Blu-ray? This is a Blockbuster used exclusive DVD. That's all I've got. Teeth. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's a high concept film of a young woman who wakes up one day with the vagina dentata, literally, right? But what's amazing about her performance, she plays this character who is a character who I'm very familiar with from my childhood. I know you are too. A super committed Christian who's grown up, very Puritan, and has grown up in one of those like promise ring type churches, and just the way she smiles and how wide her eyes get is so real. And I just love her performance. I don't know why we never got a sequel. It's set up for sequel perfectly. I wish it were more popular. It works on most levels for me. I love Teeth, and I think I haven't seen Jess Wexler in like anything else. But I think she's a really good actress. I should probably look up, see if there's something else.
And then here I come with the bad take, I guess, since everybody in the chat loves Teeth. I think she was the only good part of this movie. I think that she was incredible in this. Genuinely, I think that she made me like the movie at least and not hate it. But I felt like they should have gone so much, like, pardon the pun, but deeper into this movie. They should have. I don't think they went there enough. I think that there was only a couple scenes that really started to touch on what this should have been. And it need because was this only rated PG-13 or was it an R?
Oh, it has to have been R.
And that, to me, looking at it, it feels like a PG-13.
Well, shoot, it doesn't say. Oh, let me look at the back of the box. Duh. It's R. I can read the R. I just looked up.
Does it say what the R rating is for?
No, this is back when they. Oh no, it does actually.
Oh, I guess you forgot your bifocal.
Disturbing sequences involving sexuality and violence, language, and some drug use.
See, and sure, the sequences are disturbing, but I mean, this movie is literally about sex. And I'm not saying like I'm a horn dog begging for this to be depraved, but it didn't quite go there to that level where it was actually disturbing.
Yeah, I do feel like it needed more castration.
Genuinely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I yeah,
One is not enough, my friend.
that's the problem, John. There's a severed penis. There needs to be many. No, you're right. I maintain that I like the movie overall, but it definitely centers on Jess Wexler's performance. Without her,
100%.
without
100%.
if that had been someone else, it wouldn't. I wouldn't have enjoyed it. And I agree. I would have liked a lot more disturbing stuff. I think it definitely pulled back when it should have gone
Thrust forward. I knew you wanted to say it. Come on.
Yeah. But still, I can't let go of the performance. I just looked up her filmography, and she's been in a ton of movies, but I haven't heard of a single one of them.
Oh, interesting.
Which is strange. But yeah, I like Teeth. Many of us are still waiting on. In the comments there was still waiting on a Blu-ray of Killer Condom. Now there's a movie with some castrations. Yeah.
So looking at my list, I've got 2 left, I believe. Correct? Is that correct? You have, I think, 1 left.
I've
got 2 left. Okay. So I feel like we might share. Or no, I already know you were 1. I think if you stuck to what you had said. So maybe not then. I'm going to go with Florence Pugh in Midsommar. This movie is so goddamn bleak, and I love every minute of Midsommar. It has been talked about to death over the last handful of years. I don't want to, necessarily tear it apart, but this all centers around the believability of Florence Pugh's heart being ripped out 29 times throughout this movie, at least. And she solidified herself as somebody that I can absolutely look at and watch them melt into a character in modern cinema in a way that I didn't recognize in her before that. I think that she delivers in every single scene something that people dream of delivering in other films. The original part of that movie when they're at home and they set up the entire film with her scream in the house, and it immediately changes your tone as you're watching that film, and you get shivers just from watching her see her life just pass in front of her, basically.
Yeah.
It sets up what you think is going to be bleak, and then it turns it into this so much more bleak thing than you could possibly imagine. And then it delivers all of that during the day. And I don't need to, again, I don't want to break it down, but you got to talk about that. The fact that you can still be so terrified by everything happening in the middle of a little fairy forest during the day is so it speaks to the testament of the filmmaking in this movie. It is gorgeous and so well done. I love Midsommar so much.
Wow. I haven't seen it yet.
What the fuck, Will?
I know. I got a copy of it. I got the director's cut.
Good. Did you get the 4K from A24?
No. But it was like the Blu-ray was on sale for like $5 on Amazon, so I was like, oh, I'll get that.
Oh, interesting.
So I liked Hereditary, and it's stuck in the shelf, and I just haven't watched it yet. I have to now. I have to, because that was an impassioned description. I liked that.
It will get to you, especially if you can imagine like Wicker Man plus a movie we talked about earlier. Like there's some hallucinogenic type scenes that are gonna fuck with your mind, that is similar to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Not quite as trippy, but it puts you on edge in so many different ways near the end of that film. It is a heartbreaking movie.
Okay. Well, for my final one, I have another movie that's heartbreaking in its own way, and a movie that I don't think would have worked as well without the dual performance of
I
its
love this performance.
leading actress, and I'm going with Lupita Nyong'o in Us. I had trouble getting into the movie at first, but she pulled me in, and um, I won't, in case somebody out there hasn't seen it, I won't reveal anything about the plot and any twisting and turning that it might take. But at the end, I was like, wow, I want her to be in more horror movies. I think the only thing she's done close to a horror movie besides that is Little Monsters,
Which is good.
that zombie comedy.
Yeah.
I want to see her in like another dark horror movie because she was fantastic. I mean, we know she's a great actress, but being a great actress and being able to be a great horror actress,
Right.
it doesn't always translate. And I think actresses in general who get either stuck in horror or choose to stay in horror don't get enough credit because horror acting is very difficult, but Lupita pulled it off. I love her performance. And so it's my top 7 favorite modern era. That's what I'm calling 1996/5. So now the modern era performances.
And she pulls it off twice, and you can tell the difference in the characters, and it's a beautiful movie. This is probably a hot take, especially considering the whole Sight and Sound poll and all that shit. I think Get Out might be Jordan Peele's worst movie.
I mean, worst in the sense that Us and Nope are ambitious and with larger scopes. It may be that may be true. I think Get Out is really, really good.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think Us is way better, and I'm still trying to process Nope. See how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I think that there's so much to. I mean, obviously, it's Jordan Peele, and he's brilliant, and he can take out a lot from all 3 of those. But yes, John, I probably should have said Get Out is the least good movie, and that's not saying it's bad. It's just everything about what he's done so far is so damn compelling. But I honestly, Us is the pinnacle of that for me. I really enjoyed Nope, but Us is easily the one that I'm drawn into the most and I wanted to spend time in that universe, not with more sequels or anything. I was just fascinated with the filmmaking, the acting from everybody. I mean, Winston Duke is incredible in that film. Elizabeth Moss, astonishing. Loved it. Loved Us. And I don't understand how many people came out of that not enjoying that film.
Yeah. A sequel could be Us, the actual end game. Yeah.
Except they'd probably call it Us, I've got 5 on it.
Hey, speaking of Evil Dead, this is a complete apropos nothing, but I'm excited about it, so I'm going to share. I'm going to see Bruce Campbell's doing this thing called Bruce Rama, where he turns around and does trivia game and then watches Evil Dead 2 with you, and I'm going to see that 1st of April. Nice. I'm really excited.
I think he's doing that here. I keep seeing some Facebook ads for it or something.
I emailed him in 1996, this newfangled thing called email. I emailed Bruce Campbell in 1996 and asked him if I could interview him for my college newspaper, and he wrote back. He said, send me 10 extremely original questions and give me a couple weeks and I'll get back to you. And so when I see him in April, I'm going to ask him, where the fuck are my questions?
I'm still waiting on my email, you bastard.
What the hell?
All right. My number one, I think, is the number one, of all time. You already mentioned it, but I don't think there's any arguing with Toni Collette in Hereditary. It is the definitive female performance in a horror film ever. I'll stand by that. I think that she is unhinged. I think that she is emotionally withdrawn when she needs to be, which is not easy to show on screen. I think that she leads a family in a way that is logical to the steps that it needs to be, and then obviously logic goes out the complete window. But then you feel every blood curdling scream. Uh, it's Marilyn Burns. Like, okay, she's great, Stan. I get it, but yeah, maybe. I mean, she's up there for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
this performance, the piano wire line or scene, the fact that we see her crawling around on the wall and ceiling, the complete like staring through your soul in multiple scenes that she does in this movie.
Yeah.
It is an astonishing performance that is embarrassing that it was not even in contention for an Oscar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course, you are right. It is the number one objectively. And Stan, don't worry. There was no way we were not going to mention Marilyn Burns. Yeah, I'm happy to hear your description because her performance and the conditions that she did it in, just harrowing.
Stan also agrees that she is brilliant, but she's no Marilyn Burns. I get it. You're just partial to Toby. Her dollhouse crafting. Yeah. Catherine, Paul says Catherine Deneuve for Repulsion.
Oh, yeah. So many good ones. I saw a bunch of great performances getting named in the chat, which is great. I'm glad that people are throwing out. I mean, there's so many great ones. We could do this every day.
Celeste says, what conditions? She doesn't know about that.
It was hot. It was really hot.
Well, and there was a few scenes that they made it really cold, and they went back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, and the meat was real and rotten, and just so many. To enumerate all of the difficult conditions would take a while.
The number of screams alone, too.
I mean, God, to be able to get that sound to come out of you is
that alone is terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, we did it. That's a lot of iconic Scream Queen performances.
Yeah.
This has been a fun talk, and like I said, we are all about Women's Appreciation Month for this month on the channel. Next week, we have Zach Bryant from They Live by Film coming on, and we're going to be talking about some more cult horror-related female things, and we'll talk about some things a little more in depth next week with that. But we got some really great guests coming on the rest of this month as well, and can't wait to see if we can follow up this week of announcements, because this was kind of amazing. I totally forgot before we leave. DC was asking about the halfway to Black Friday pre-order flash sale. Oh, there's the reminder. So Vinegar Syndrome is having on March 24th to the 26th. They're having their halfway to Black Friday flash sale pre-order. That sale will be coming up at the end of May on Memorial Day weekend, but they always do a little precursor to that in March. And what we are going to be able to see is a couple of the titles that are going to be coming out, and they are doing a new VSU in May, and we're going to be seeing what that is. And I'm hoping it's the one that I know about, so I can just finally talk about it. It is going to be not super important for subscribers. If you're already a subscriber, you are getting everything except for any VSAs, VSUs, VSPs, partner labels, VSLs. Good Lord, there's way too many sublines nowadays. But this is the only way for some certain things to happen. So if you are not a subscriber, you can pre-order the whole package and get everything, which will secure you to already have shipping paid for the sale. And if they do something over the top, like title with 2 slipcovers, or like a few years ago, we got Cutting Class with 5 different slipcovers. If you pre-order the package, you get all of it. And that's the only way to do that, is if you have that or if you're a subscriber. And it is for the whole weekend. You'll get just a little bit of information, but there will still be mystery titles that are not revealed until the May sale. And nothing is actually going to be on sale during this weekend. However, it will be like a couple dollars cheaper than it will be in May. So if you want to lock it in now, you can do that coming at the end of March and secure that for the May sale.
Okay.
It's a lot. No other titles on sale, unfortunately. It's not something where you're going to go in and want to spend, $300 on titles that you've been looking at for the last 4 months. It just does not work like that. There's already too many Vinegar Syndrome sales throughout the year, it feels like, now that they're doing the adult sale in February, and then last year they had that archive sale in the summer and May and November, and this year we had the first week of January. There's just so much happening.
Yeah.
Similar says, but like if I just want the 10 years, 10 films, I can get that on sale. Well, first off, we don't know that it's called 10 years, 10 films. All they said was there is a 10 film box set coming. But on top of that, I want to remind people, because I saw some people asking, they have already confirmed subscribers are getting the 10 film box set.
Hell yeah.
And on top of that, I believe they confirmed that 10 film box set will not be upgrades to their previous films. It will all be new films, which is great. I am so glad that it's not going to be upgrades. But yeah, that 10 years or 10 film box set, I don't think that will be on sale. I'm not even sure if they're going to reveal that at the end of March. That's a curious one. That's a big deal to just show that whole thing in March before the sale. I think that they would want to entice people with that a little more. Maybe they'll reveal half in March and half in May. But who knows? It could be where all the titles are related some way, and it would be stupid to reveal half now and half then. I wonder if it's going to be like a 10 film franchise. Probably not.
Oh, the witchcraft movies.
I said 10 film, not 43 film.
Well, it's volume 1.
It's the witchcraft shelf set.
Oh, God. I might cancel my subscription.
Now in the month of March. I'm already getting 3 sets. Can you just refund me the rest? Anyways, as usual, since we are ending this, I want to say thank you to all the patrons. You guys are keeping this going way more than you think. There is no way that I could pay for some of the stuff that it costs to do this show without you all. By the time that you are hearing this, if you're listening to the podcast version, there's probably going to be a handful of more announcements. So obviously we're going to be here next Thursday. Again, lots of guests coming up. I don't know what else to say here. I'm terrible at selling myself. I'm like 50 subs away from 2,000. The last time I said this, I lost subs when I said that. Hey, let's get me to 2,000, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that would be great. And share this with your friends, people. This is such a cool channel, such a cool show. I'm so honored to be able to be on it. I really, I guess I've been low energy tonight, but I've had a great time, and I've enjoyed mixing it up a little bit with. I don't really like Alien Resurrection.
I really do think the Evil Dead remake is the best of the franchise, though.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the theater though, and being like, "Wow, they're swimming." But
I always think that during swimming scenes.
Yeah, look at that.
In the sequel to The Strangers, they were in that pool, and I went, "Oh wow, they're swimming."
Oh, somebody said in the chat, asked me if I could name the horror icon that's in Alien Resurrection. I'm assuming that's Brad Dourif. Yeah, I'm assuming he's talking about Brad Dourif.
I mean, Winona Ryder's in it. She's basically a horror icon with a few of the things that she's done.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron Perlman, you could argue some of the things he's done.
It's probably Brad Dourif is what they were thinking of, though.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. I wish, now if it had been Brad Dourif fighting like for a prolonged period of time,
in a swimming pool.
That would be funny. Or there's a new franchise, Aliens versus Chucky.
There you go. Well, on that note, I will leave everybody with the comment from D. Sibner. Ryan, Dr. Dollopson, it's been a pleasure. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.